Gabby Affair, and I am super excited today. Apologies for the late start of the show though. But yeah, we are here to run you through all the updates, all the analysis from the various match centers, the reactions from the players, the managers, the XGs you want to hear, the explainers around your teams. It's a busy weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and this is always the place to listen to when it comes to everything European football. It's always an interactive show, so feel free to send in your thoughts or join in the conversation on 0539 986 996. And just like we always do at the tail end of the show, phone lines will get activated, and then you can also call us, join the conversation. So just sharing your thoughts, then we'll take the show home. The WhatsApp text line again is 0539 986 996, 0539 986 996. I'm Gabby Affair, and I'm here with Yao Jaminta and the rest of the guys to bring you all the updates. We're also live on YouTube, City Sports Ghana, and City FM as well, and live on radio 97.3. We're also live on X. You can also head there and send in your thoughts. Then we're live on Channel 1 TV, the Republic of Football. Channel 1 TV. Well, lots of games to look forward to today. Chelsea are in action. There's Man City also in action. Arsenal in action. But before those games, the 3 p.m. batch of matches, we have two matches kicking off at 3 p.m. There's Burnley taking on Bournemouth. Sunderland will take on Brighton. In round 30 of the English Premier League. Then later 5:30, there's Arsenal taking on Everton. Chelsea, Newcastle United. West Ham will play Manchester City at the London Stadium. That's it in the English Premier League. When you head to the Championship, as Coventry, they are currently losing to Southampton. Middlesbrough will play Bristol City, but that game is still in action. There's Oxford up against Charlton Athletic. Birmingham City will take on Sheffield United. Leicester up against QPR. Then Millwall will take on Blackburn. There's Norwich up against Preston North End. Sheffield Wednesday will play Ipswich. Stoke City up against Watford. Then West Bromwich Albion up against Hull City in the Championship. I'm just running you through the championships, right? Because you get into the business end of that competition. Coventry topping the table with 77 points. Middlesbrough second with 72. And speaking of Coventry, there's a Ghanaian player who played for that team managed by Frank Lampard, Brandon Thomas Asante. Is he starting today? Nope, he's not. I'm sure he gets some minutes as the game progresses. So there's a lot more to munch on today regarding the European leagues. When you go to the French Liga, Lorraine will take on Lens at 4 p.m. and just up against OGC Nice at 6 p.m. Then Monaco will take on Brest at 8:05 p.m. In the German Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen up against Bayern Munich at 2:30 p.m. and then Dortmund will take on Augsburg. At the same time, Frankfurt up against Heidenheim. It's also at 2:30. Then Hoffenheim will take on Wolfsburg. And SV will play FC Cologne at 5:30. Taking you to the Italian Serie A because Inter are taking on Atalanta. It's goalless in that game. At 5 p.m. Napoli will take on Lecce. Udinese will take on Juventus. 7:45 p.m. in the Italian Serie A. For the Spanish La Liga, there's Girona taking on Athletic Bilbao. Girona do have the lead against Bilbao. Atletico Madrid will take on Getafe at 3:15 p.m. Then Real Oviedo will take on Valencia. Then the final game in the Spanish La Liga is between Madrid against Elche. In the Spanish La Liga. So that's some really good games coming up later today. And just like we do every weekend, as and when the goals do pop up in the various match centers, let's jump into that update and then run you through the discussion. But just in case you're wondering where your team is currently sitting on the table, starting off in the EPL, Arsenal are top with 67 points. They play 30 games. They have 20 wins, 7 draws, and 3 losses. 59 goals scored, 22 conceded. Manchester City follow second with 60 points. There's United with 51 points. City and United have played 29 games. Then Manchester United take 51 points, yes, with 29 games played. Aston Villa, 29 games played, 51 points. Chelsea are 5th with 48. There's Liverpool, same points, 48 points. Brentford, 44. Everton, Bournemouth are 8th and 9th on the table. Fulham, 10th. Sunderland do have 40 points. Newcastle, 39. Crystal Palace, 38. Brighton, 37. Leeds United, 31. Spurs do have 29 points. Nottingham Forest with 28 points, 17th on the table. There's West Ham United with 28. Burnley, Wolves are in the relegation zone. The Wolves 16 points. Burnley do have 19 points in there. When you go to the Spanish La Liga, okay, let's do the Italian. Okay, the Spanish La Liga. The table has Barcelona topping at 67 points, Real Madrid 63, Villarreal 55, and then Atletico Madrid 54 points in there. Real Betis 43 points, Celta Vigo 40, Espanyol 37, and for the relegation zone there is Mallorca, Levante, and Real Oviedo, who are rock bottom in that league. In the Italian Serie A, I'll just run you through the top 4. Inter, AC Milan, Napoli, Como. Yeah, Como are in the top 4. Managed by Cesc Fabregas. Let's get back to the EPL. Let me run you through the games that will kick off at 3 p.m. Let me start off with the starting 11 for Burnley. They are up against Bournemouth at 3 p.m. Burnley starts with Martin Dubravka in post at the Turf Moor. It's a 3-4-2-1 formation. Humphreys, Laurent, and Esteve completing the back three. Kyle Walker, James Ward-Prowse. There's Mejbri, Hannibal, and then Hartman as the midfield 4. So Kyle Walker playing as the right wing back, and then Hartman playing as the left wing back. There's Foster, Anthony, and Fleming. Zion Fleming. He's got some back-to-back goals in the last 2 matches Burnley have played. And for Bournemouth, they start with Petrovic in post. It's a 4-2-3-1 formation. And Trufe, Senesi, Hill, and Smith. Okay, so there is a goal coming from the Italian Serie A. Inter Milan have taken the lead against Atalanta. It's Inter 1, Atalanta 0. Suspecting is Marcos Thuram, who scored a goal for Inter Milan. So Atalanta lose possession in their own half. Inter capitalize on that. A proper build-up. And Esposito, yeah, he scored that goal for Inter Milan when the jersey number 94. So Esposito giving Inter Milan the lead. Back to the starting 11 for Bournemouth. There's Scott, Christie, Tavernier, Krupi, Ryan, and then Evan Nielsen. who's leading the attack for Bournemouth. Sunderland take on Brighton. That's another 3 p.m. game kicking off. So Sunderland line up in a 4-2-3-1. Elbok, there's Getruda, Ballard, Alderete, and him as the back four. Noah Sadiki, Granit Xhaka, Shamsdeen Taubi, Diarra Rigg, and Brian Brobe leading the attack for Sunderland. On the part of Brighton, it's a 4-2-3-1. Verbruggen, Kadioglu, Louis Dunk, Van Hecke, Wiefer, Pascal Gropp, James Milner, Yakuba Mente, and Hinshelwood, Gomez, Danny Welbeck leading the attack for Brighton. So that's the 3 p.m. batch of matches. The 2 games kicking off today. Sunderland are 12 points clear of the drop zone with 9 games to go, while they are just 4 points off European places, which could drop down lower from than the top 7, depending on the outcome of the FA Cup and the continental competitions. So it's an interactive show. You can join the conversation 053996 on YouTube. You can also leave your thoughts there, and I would take time to read them for you. So always join us. Welcome again to the show. I've got Manuel Angelo Kwache here with me. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, Gabby?
I'm all right. Very, very all right. There's a lot of games to look forward to today, though. I don't know if we just want to share quick thoughts on the Inter Milan game taking on Atalanta. Inter lost to AC Milan in the last weekend. That derby that was played at the San Siro. They need to bounce back and maintain their position at the top of the table. Just quick thoughts on how important this game is for them in terms of securing the Scudetto.
I mean, for them, I think it's just a matter of getting back on track, like you said. Because even though they lost last week, they have a point advantage over 10 points, and I think that's too much of a lead to bottle at this stage of the season. Especially when you look at the pack that were chasing them. I think Milan under Allegri, everyone thought that they would be a competitive team, but I think it's just a little too soon. I don't think he's been able to get enough players that he wants, that he'll be able to, get them to play the way he wants. So it might take longer than a season for him to have that impact over there. And when you look at Napoli, they've been a little disappointing. They haven't been able to maintain their, the energy that they had from last season, winning the league. And you think that maybe they'd be able to go on and defend it, but it looks like in Europe and domestically, Napoli haven't been able to be the same team, which is slightly disappointing. Which has meant that it's made it a little easier for Inter Milan to coast all the way to the title. They'll be slightly disappointed after losing the title on the last day last season to Napoli. Yeah. So if they can secure it much earlier this season, I think they'll prefer it that way. The shock for me in the game is Atalanta. Because last season under Gasperini and the season before that, they were a very competitive team. But if you look at the way that they were playing this season, they looked a little confused under Ivan Juric. They had to sack him, and they've looked a little more steady. But this is a team that was competing for the Champions League spots, and at some point it looked like they were in the title conversation. Yep. So it's just surprising that with just the switch of a manager and a few key players moving on, the entire Skamaka. I think Skamaka has moved on to. Is that the
same Skamaka we saw at West Ham United?
Yeah, he came to England. It didn't quite work out for him,
really
and then he had
tough time there.
I think he didn't have enough opportunity. He's a good striker, and I think his record when he makes the appearances are good. He just wasn't able to necessarily become a consistent striker. And I think sometimes the players coming in from other leagues struggle with that a bit. Yeah. I think you see something similar with Voltmada this season for Newcastle. He started off really well, but still getting adapted to the league means that he might go through some patches where he doesn't necessarily score. But yeah, and I think also it's also key to point out the omission of Lookman. I'm sorry, not the omission, the sale of
Lookman to Atletico Madrid.
And if you remember, during the summer, he was quite persistent. He wanted to go to Inter Milan. Yeah, he tried to force through a move, but they didn't think they had got enough money in terms of value for him. He had to wait it out till after the AFCON, and then he got his move to Atletico Madrid. But yeah, there's just a big gap between the teams when it wasn't necessarily that big before. And I think that's just down to some of the decisions that have been made by both clubs over the last year.
Yeah, I'm just going through the starting 11 for Atlanta, I don't see a man. He's on the bench. So he's on the bench. Kamaldeen Suleiman is on the bench, but he started the last game though for Atlanta. I'm sure he being on the bench is down to the. I think they played Udinese. They ended 2 or before they are that one up in at the hands of Bayern Munich, yes, because the last game against Udinese he started, but today the coach has decided to go with Zalewski in place of Kamaldeen Suleiman's position. That's a polish. He's 24 years old. Could that be down to what everybody knows about Kamaldeen, his end product? And if you want to just look at also the numbers around his time at Atalanta, probably the coach has looked at him and says that he's not getting what he thinks he would get from the player in terms of contributing goals to the team. But I think I think there was the Coppa Italia he assisted.
Yeah,
Musa. Yeah. Are you surprised, or what do you make about the decision by the coach to not to start him to the end, to have Suleiman on the bench?
So I'm looking at his statistics for the season in the Serie A, and it says that he's played 21 matches, but he's only started 8 games, and in that output he's only produced 2 goals and an assist, which then leads me to
28 matches,
21 matches, 21 matches
this season.
21 matches in
the Italian Serie A. Okay.
8 games started. He has 2 goals and an assist, and for an elite forward, that is not necessarily the numbers. If he wants to be considered an elite forward, that's not necessarily the numbers he should be producing. So even though I can understand that he started about, let's say, roughly a third, nearly 1 in 3 games this season, that's not nearly enough to have the impact that he wants. But if you look at the return for the amount of time that has been given to him, that's 860 minutes played, and that's 2 goals and an assist.
Yeah,
I don't think he's been productive necessarily. I don't think that's down to him. He's also adapting to
inspiring.
He's also adapting to an entirely different league, and he's also now having to deal with the fact that this team used to play under a different manager. I don't know how much the impact of Gasperini leaving has had on the team.
Yeah.
If you look at it, they've changed some players, so it shouldn't necessarily be that devastating for them. But if you look at where they've been able to do the season, you can clearly tell. And when you compare that to Roma, I think Roma also started the season really well. They looked like they could be one of the teams that could compete for the title, but they slowly also drifted away a bit. I think Como are ahead of them now, and that should give you an idea of That should give you an idea of the type of how different their form has been from the start of the season compared to now. Yeah, but if Atalanta they still manage to push towards the end of the season, I don't know if they can necessarily dislodge Roma or Juventus. Now that we've seen how far Como have gone, I don't know if they can still manage to make it into the European competitions. And like we spoke about, their Champions League run clearly might have to come to an end quite soon because of how they performed in the first leg against Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a disgrace to go out to Bayern Munich, but I think if the whole season is built around the Champions League and you're unable to make any progress on that, I think they would find that quite disappointing. But for Kamaldeen, it's just about making sure that when he gets the opportunity to come off the bench, he's able to utilize it and have put himself in the coach's thoughts of a player who should be starting games.
Yeah. Well, let's see. That game is just 35 minutes old. That's talking about Inter taking on Atalanta at the San Siro. Inter with the lead. Esposito giving Inter Milan the goal. There's a lot of minutes to play, but on YouTube we are live on the City FM and also City Sports Ghana. In the Spanish La Liga, Girona have added a second goal to their lead. They are taking on Athletic Bilbao. Is Iñaki starting? I mean, from now to when the World Cup will start, I guess
all the interest should be.
He's starting, right? Daniel's okay. Daniel says Nico Williams is starting. So from now to the World Cup, we are looking for every Ghanaian player everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Everywhere. Y'all says we shouldn't say everywhere, but everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah,
because
like I said,
somebody can be playing in Cambodia and have 24 goals in 26 matches.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and
Istanbul.
I think some of these forms can be translated to national teams. So just about context and giving people opportunities.
Yeah.
So especially the Ghana Premier League players. I think that there are a few of them that, and if you look, it's a little strange when you look back to our first World Cup appearance, like the number of players we had from the Ghana Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the standard of the league has reduced, I mean, obviously it hasn't necessarily always been consistent, but I don't think the fact that people have the idea that as soon as a player is playing in the Ghana Premier League, that immediately disqualified them for playing for the Black Stars.
Yeah.
I'm just a little surprised how far along we've come down narrative, because we used to depend a lot on some of the players who were featuring in the Ghana Premier League to have an impact for the Black Stars. I don't know if maybe the difference is maybe the coaching, because back then we had different coach. If I'm right, it was James Atakuyefio who qualified Ghana for the first World Cup in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
But if how to call it, I don't obviously Otuado has been around some of the Ghana Premier League matches. I think the last time he was at the Super Clash.
Yeah.
To show visibility and to how to call it, give an opportunity to some of the Ghanaian players playing there. But I think that if we are if we are serious about the type of team we're trying to build, we might find one or two players in the local leagues who can also maybe even not necessarily start, because another thing in a camp is you need good vibes, and certain players will be more grateful for the opportunity to travel with Ghana even though they're not playing. They don't necessarily feel like they have to go and throw up a fuss if they're not playing. I think sometimes you need characters like that, and like the point we've been making, looking ahead to the future,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that the talent that's coming from the next future have an experience of these tournaments, so it's not the first time that they go to to these events that they get starstruck, or they are unable to perform due to nerves.
Yeah.
They can just go and have an experience of it, and next time they can just use that experience.
Okay, so as Hirona 2, Athletic Bilbao
I think
0.
Inaki has been taken off now.
Okay.
It's also been I mean, he has had more
He played
injuries.
79 minutes today. He played 79 minutes. This season, his made just 19 starts. So 20 starts. Today added, he has 2 goals, 2 assists so far for Athletic Club. I mean, they are also 10th on the table. Hirona at 12.
I mean, if I was being critical of Kamal, I was not necessarily being critical, but if I was commenting on Kamaldeen's goal efficiency, Nico Williams has played far more than Kamaldeen, and I don't know whether if you look at him now, whether necessarily it's a struggle to.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season, the early start of the season, he was suffering from. He picked up an injury, I believe. Yeah, I remember that story. He picked up an injury, and that disrupted his form slightly, because he's actually been one of the consistent players for Athletic Club.
I mean, I think he holds the record for the most consecutive games played in La Liga.
Yeah,
I'm right, without injury. I'll check that record exactly. But for a long time in La Liga, he was not missing games. Like, he did not. If you looking down at his stats, the least games he's played in the season is at least 37, 36. He over the last 10 years, he's regularly hitting 40, 50 games for his club. So it's a bit surprising that this season he hasn't been able to maintain his fitness, and it's also coming at a crucial time, like he said, for the national team. Like we keep discussing, the problem is there aren't that many options in terms of who will lead the line for his position necessarily to be under threat within the squad. But I think that if we had a few other players maybe scoring more goals here and there, we would actually be having more of a conversation about who is going to, if we assume that Jordan is going to be in the squad, whether to start or to be a player supporting role, but he's going to be there as the captain. We need to also have a discussion about who else can play that front line. I think Thomas Asante got a goal for Coventry recently, and I think he's definitely one of the players who should be considered for that position. It all comes down to the same problem we have with most of these players. It's just adaptation to playing for Ghana, as opposed to playing in a club system where the whole system is built around them. Yeah, in a way.
Okay, let me take some comments on YouTube. Patrick124 says, first to comment, I'm watching from community 25. Okay. There's Stanley also says he's watching a show live from Robbinsville, New Jersey, United States of America. He says, let me see. Redeemer Salom says, watching you guys from Williamsburg in Virginia. Oh, wow. Okay. He says, I wish the fundamentals a blessed marriage life. God bless his union. Yeah.
Yeah, very important note to carry the conversation on. Mr. Nketiah is.
I just knew.
Now,
it was a good one today. We were at church at Paris Chapel, so it was a city sports thing, you know. Rita Mensah was a former colleague who was here working with us, and then the fundamentals doing his thing, you know. Yeah, so congratulations to our man. Sweet Kwame says, congratulations to Ben and Rita, with a clapping emoji. Yeah. He says, what has happened to Nico Williams? No one is talking about him anymore. I just joined you guys from Lome, Togo, with a fire emoji. Okay. Yeah, so we are just live everywhere. USA, Togo, Serbia, Afghanistan, everywhere. We are there watching us live.
Okay.
You can also send in your thoughts 0539986996 053996. So today we started a conversation around the Italian Serie A, and then we hopped on to the Spanish La Liga. Kwachi, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to talk on the comment about Nico Williams. He's also been it hasn't gone for him as well as he thought it would.
Has it been the same ever since signing that contract extension with the club?
I never really understood the whole drama with him and Athletic Club and him
the loyalty.
It's not really loyal. I think it's quite similar to the Mbappe scenario, where this is a club that have consistently shown interest in you, but it's now up to you to decide if you're ready to make the move to a bigger club. And from the way the story is understood, last summer he wasn't giving those signs to Barcelona in the same way where Mbappe had previously not been interested, not taken up on Real Madrid's interest in him to come.
Yeah. And
then there comes a summer where it looks like you've given the positive sign, everything is going to go ahead, and then for some reason, I don't know if it's a reaction to, if you remember at the time, he had a mural in Bilbao and that got defaced, and I don't know if he was worried about what his legacy would be when he leaves the club, and how that necessarily impacted his decision to stay. But once you stay, you have to make it worth it, and to sign a 10-year contract, which already is an excessive amount of time. As a young football player with that promise, I don't think you necessarily need to commit yourself that far into the future, because you always need to keep your options available in case you want to move. But he seems to want to show a sense of loyalty to the Basque club. They have their own the way their connection runs deep for them. They had like you said, they expect a sense of loyalty.
Yeah.
And but to stay and not necessarily have be able to have the impact that he thought it would have, because at that point the only thing that happens now is you should be winning a title. And I think he's won the Copa del Rey once he's been there, but it means that you need to be able to push on to the next step. And this may sound slightly unfair, and Sociedad don't suffer from this as much as Athletic Club, because they're able to sign more from outside. But with Athletic Club's model, they are somehow reliant on having a very good production line in terms of youth academies. So they need to, or recruitment, if they can go out and recruit maybe some of the best Basque players, but they're still limited to having to sign only Basque players, which means that in order to build a competitive team, you need to either invest in the highest level of quality in terms of talent refinery. Basically, like once you have the talent, you are able to set up a system that's able to make them produce the talent to work at a higher level, and that will necessarily make up for it. But other than that, it means you're reliant on having a really good crop of young players coming through your academy who will then be able to help you build a base that you can build a competitive team around. And that's just less likely at a club like Athletic, when their transfer model, like I said, is slightly restricted. So for him, in terms of his long-term career, I'm surprised at the decision. I really think that if he had gone to Barcelona, he would have been able to push on to the next level. I mean, playing with Lamine Yamal like at Spain, you're able to see the type of cohesion and relationship that they have when they play together. So yeah, it was just surprising to me. Obviously, I can tell that his brother played a role in that. Because Iñaki is definitely probably going to
obviously
stay there
there's that huge influence from Iñaki Williams. So I think it's telling. It's telling on whatever decision Nico will take to move on to the next stage. And then if he also wants to look at himself first, look at his career, and not really take or focus more on what his brother says regarding what he has to do. Because of the two, everybody knows that he's the most talented and he's the one who's younger. And looking at that relationship you've also spoken about with him and then Lamine, I think he has to look at it again.
Yeah, I mean, but if looking at, I mean, he's also been injured a bit this season, to be fair to him. But I still don't think that he's necessarily, played as well as we know he can play. Maybe that's also due to injury. Maybe that's also due to a drop in form. But I think same points. Like, in order to get to the next step in your career, regardless of where that is, unless Athletic Club is going to become a team that's going to start competing regularly for titles and Champions League, we've already outlined why that would be more difficult for them than it would be for any other club, irrespective of financial ability.
Yeah.
It just means that he's always going to be playing I don't. Maybe slightly unfair, but I don't know if Grealish. But if you look at Grealish and how his impact at Aston Villa, to Man City, and now back at Everton, if that makes sense, like maybe you need to be the star player, the focal point, the player who knows that he's guaranteed to play 2-4-7, and that's how you're going to build your confidence. If he goes to a team like Man City and he's not being played week in, week out, maybe that starts to affect his confidence. But at this point, everything is being given to him. I think he just needs to try and kick on to the next level and prove to all those who doubt that he made the right decision by staying there and signing a 10-year contract extension, that this is what he can do. Okay.
In Germany, Bayern Munich are losing to Bayern Leverkusen. 90 minutes played in that game. Dortmund also beating Osbeck. And that game also being played in Germany. 90 minutes done at the Signal Iduna Park. And then the Serie A, Inter, it's halftime between Inter and Atalanta in the Italian Serie A. So Esposito, Yao's favorite striker, getting a goal for Inter Milan. Yeah, just quick thoughts on Inter. Last week they lost to AC Milan and they needed to shake off that. Should I say minor blip or whatever you'd want to call it?
It was a minor blip.
Yeah, because I look at that performance, that whole game.
Because they've been brilliant this season.
Yeah.
Well, in the Italian league, they've been brilliant this season, and a lot of people, including yours truly, didn't believe that they would be in this position to win the league, to win the league title. I honestly believe that before the season started, I tipped Napoli to win the title again and to be able to successfully defend it. I'm looking at the kind of recruitments that they did, bringing in the likes of Rasmus Højlund, bringing in Kevin De Bruyne.
He's still not fully recovered.
Yeah. I mean, it was a major hamstring tear, so he was expected to be out for a significant period, and he has been out for a significant period. It looks very likely that he will return around April. Just in time to get himself in shape for the World Cup. And so I didn't expect Inter Milan to be this good and to be in such a commanding position to win the Italian Serie A, so commanding that had they beaten AC Milan in last week's derby, had they beaten them, they would have more or less practically won the league. Sealed the title, because AC Milan are the biggest threat in terms of potentially upstaging them and taking over as leaders and potentially league champions. And so for me, Inter Milan have been good. Like I said, I didn't expect them to be this good, especially this early under Christian Kivu. I honestly thought that we should give them a season to build themselves up under Christian Kivu before I tipped them as the title favorite or league title contenders. But things have happened swiftly. you must also consider what Simone Inzaghi left behind.
Yeah.
That Christian Kibu hasn't necessarily
changed much.
much.
I think it was just an introduction of few players.
Just a couple of.
I think Bisek, top of my head.
Yeah, young Bisek. He's brought in a lot of young blood that weren't necessarily or heavily played out in the
Esposito right?
In the Simone Inzaghi period. They were young. They were playing some games here and there, but they weren't significant minutes. Mm-hmm. So you look at.
Is he the one who signed Zelinski? Or Zelinski was on
Zelinski was there, yeah.
Okay.
So Zelinski, I think he was the one who signed Zelinski. Yeah, he was the one who signed Zelinski.
I want to look at
and he promoted.
So Zelinski, Susic, Esposito, Dimarco was there. Dumfries was there. Bisek was there. Akanji too was signed, I believe.
Akanji.
And Lakibu.
Yeah. But yeah, he was. I think in January last season. Yeah, in January last season. That's when he got signed. And so, like I said, Bisek, Esposito, they were there, but they weren't getting significant minutes. There's this young chap in the Bonnie, who is also in there. Those guys, they were there, but under Kibu, he's rotating the squad a bit more and a bit better than
there are certain games
Simone Inzaghi.
Starting,
Simone Inzaghi was quite stubborn. In his
Inzaghi, he stuck with the old Wadi Sport. Achebi was still playing.
Yeah, very.
I think the Achebi thing is from Lazio because he knew him well from Lazio.
And very conservative with his selection to the extent that you could tell that at some points last season, towards the end, you could tell that the legs were a bit heavy.
Yeah.
And it played a role in they more or less I wouldn't say gifting, more or less not playing a really strong role in determining who won the Italian Serie A title last season when Napoli just ran away with it because he didn't make those rotations. But these days,
you see those rotations.
Yeah, you see those rotations with Christian Kibu. Denzel Dumfries got injured, and last week he was able to recover and play in that game against AC Milan. And now, even in his absence, you had the likes of Enrique. There's also Paulo Augusto in there. So they have some new faces in there just to prop up the depth in the team, and I think that's really what helped them to be able to get a 7-point lead in the league title race. And now looking at how things are going. If they're able to hold on and get a win, that would be another chance for them to get closer or inch closer to winning the Serie A title. And so for me, where they are now, it's a bit of a surprise for me.
Atalanta will pose a threat today.
Oh, I think Atalanta will always pose a threat because of how they play. They haven't strayed too far away from what was built up by Gasperini. Even our man who didn't last long in the position, in the head coaching role, Ivan Juric. He is someone who plays very aggressive football up front. And now they have Palladino who's in there. So it's pretty much the same. It's just a few variations in there somewhere. But I look at them, I don't think they can get back into
trouble in 30 match today and
into the game, because at the end of the day they played in the Champions League.
Walloped by 6-1.
Walloped by Bayern Munich, but Inter didn't play because they got dumped out of the Champions League by Bodo Glimt, and so they're well rested, and already they have the better quality players overall and the better quality team overall than Atalanta. So when I put all these things together, I don't see Atalanta getting back into this game and holding off Inter Milan and preventing them from getting a win. Okay,
so Bayern Munich have equalized against Bayer Leverkusen. Charlie, some 2 seasons ago, or was it just last season? This fixture was a cracker when you had Leverkusen.
2 seasons ago.
Troubling Bayern Munich. That was Xabi Alonso's era when they won the title.
When they won the title. So 2 seasons ago. Then the season after they won the title, they didn't do so well. Then after that was the 2024-2025 season. Then he moved to Real Madrid, which is this season. So
Jonathan Tah,
Former
equalizing.
Leverkusen player. Actually.
Yeah, equalizing for Bayern Munich. He's German, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
face him in the friendlies.
Yeah.
Very likely.
Eh,
Yeah, very likely.
Just wanted to make a quick correction. I
Yeah.
think I going to the lineup. Skamaka is actually starting for
Atalanta.
So it looks like he's moving material and he's been able to get himself back into the fold. And like we've been talking about, he's a quality striker. And there's been the theory that Italian players don't necessarily always acclimatize well when they move to other countries. And I think he was just one of those players who wanted to go back to Italian football.
Yeah, Kwachi, just hold on for me. The goal has been chalked off. I think there was a handball situation in there. So it's Leverkusen 1, Bayern Munich 0. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were talking about Jonathan
So
Tah.
due to a handball. Yeah, so it's been chalked off.
So Jonathan Tah,
I think he's one of the players who's been in and around of the team for
for a while.
for a while now. Yeah, so
because you look at the likes of, you look at the defenders that Germany have had, they too have generally had some issues with their central defenders, because one moment is Slotterberg, another moment Matt Hummels comes in, goes, and they haven't really had a proper consistent run ever since you moved on from the Hummels period, peak years. So Jonathan Tah, yes.
I think the gap widened for quite some time in terms of the quality.
Yeah, their
we're
centre back.
used to, and then
I mean,
the
there's this Christian Rom guy.
Yeah.
So
we had some really.
it's not the best, honestly.
I don't want to say poor defenders, but I
I
thought
mean,
they
Jerome
were average.
Boateng. Back in the day,
Maybe it's just comparing Boateng and Hummels to maybe Upamecano and Jonathan Tah.
yeah, back in the day, they had
Upamecano.
Jerome.
There's-
Yeah, they had Jerome Boateng and and
Upamecano.
Matt Hummels. Yeah, so they were quite good and they had other options too.
Martinez could play sometimes centre back
Yeah,
or
Javi
Martinez.
Javi Martinez.
Yeah, so they were quite cool, but now, I mean, with Ghana going to play against Germany, I think.
I think the Newcastle centre back Malik Thiaw.
Yeah, Malik Thiaw too has also come to.
I think he would be. I don't know, but I see him as somebody starting ahead of.
I think those two are paired usually.
I mean,
I think those
Kim
two
and
are
Jay
paired
too.
usually.
I mean, at least
Kim
not
and
for
Jay.
Germany. For
No, we are talking about
Bayern.
Germany. Yeah, I mean, those two are usually paired, and so yeah, it's cool and all. But for me, if we're Ghana going to play against Germany, I think Germany are likely going to play with quite a high line, and that's where the avenue for Ghana to get a goal or two will come from. And with Jonathan Tah, he's not the fastest, and so with Ghana having speedy forwards, I think that's one way of attacking Germany.
Okay.
Provided the quality of the long pass is on point from the midfielders and from the defenders, especially the deep line midfielders. The guy who will play a bit deeper.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that should be able to drop some beautiful crosses into dangerous positions and have the likes of Nico Williams and Antoine Semenyo, Brandon Thomas Asante. He scored during the week. Now that's 15 goals and 4 assists in 25 games. Yeah, he should be definitely given a shot. Quite speedy, stocky, strong guy. Can hold up defenders very well. Yeah, let them run onto those balls and see what the attackers can do for Ghana in that game.
Okay. Let's go for our very first break. When we come back, we'll switch the discussion to the English Premier League. Some 2 games kicking off at 3 p.m. will start or is about to start. Sunderland, Brighton, and then there is also Burnley taking on Bournemouth at a Turf Moor. We're back with more. This is the Republic of Football 97.3 live on Channel 1 TV as well, and live on City Sports Ghana. We're back after this. Abiofe here with Yao Jeminta, Manuel Angelo Kwache, Edwin Kwakofi is the man behind the YouTube action and all of that. Always join the conversation. 0539986996, 0539986996. Later, somewhere around 4:30, you can call us and get talking. Let's get to the English Premier League as we speak. We have two games kicking off at 3 p.m. And let me see. Okay, so I think we've gone through the starting 11 already. Bournemouth are taking on Burnley. Bournemouth are the away team, and then elsewhere at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland taking on Brighton. So two games, but there's a lot to discuss around Bournemouth and that Burnley game, because when you look at Burnley's position on the league table, they are 20th. They are 19th. They have 20 points, and Bournemouth are 9th on the table. Do have 41 points, so they'll be needing a point here at home to help them in their cause of staying in the Premier League next season. Let's see if they can do that. What are your initial thoughts about this game, Burnley Bournemouth?
Oh yeah, so far it's been good. I mean, it's been active. I mean, we've had multiple goal mount actions, sequences, from both teams, but more on Bournemouth on Burnley's goal, and yeah, so far it's been enterprising enough. I mean, Burnley being Burnley, trying to play out from the back and making a mistake over and over again. I've seen 2 of such mistakes already. I mean, we've played 9 minutes in this game, and they got lucky on those occasions that AFC Bournemouth didn't punish them.
Yep.
And yeah, it's pretty much been the story of their campaign on their return to the Premier League, and also for their manager in particular, Scott Parker, that he's able to do so well when it comes to bringing or qualifying teams to the Premier League. But once he gets there, that's where the problem arises. I mean, in this sense, I think he's done a better job with Burnley than he did at his previous stints in the APL, but still, it's not been enough.
Yeah.
For me, Wolves and Burnley are definitely gone in terms of getting relegated to the Championship. Yeah, mathematically they still do have a chance, but realistically, I don't see they being able to pull off a stunning miracle.
Yep.
I think the damage has already been done, and
earlier, you mean they can't do anything with it?
Oh no, they can't.
The points they have,
and especially with Burnley. Earlier in the season, if they had just managed to get a few wins, they wouldn't be in this position.
Their cause.
Yeah. Maybe, they will still be struggling, but they wouldn't be in this desperate position or dire position where their relegation from the league to the Championship has all but been confirmed. Maybe they would have been like Tottenham Hotspur, where they are under threats of getting relegated, but they are not in a terrible shape where it's almost like they need a near or almost a full-blown miracle to be able to survive the league. Spurs, for instance, if they can go on, let's say, a 3-game winning streak, that's all they need. They'll be fine. But here's a situation where Burnley, just like Wolverhampton Wanderers, who have been good over the past month, but because their situation was so terrible, despite all the wins they've been able to get, and those impressive draws they've been able to get against Arsenal and co, it still hasn't moved them any closer to getting themselves out of the drop zone.
Yeah,
it's because of all the damage that was done earlier on in the season, and the fact that they didn't properly invest in the club. when you lost the likes of Matheus Cunha and co. I'm not saying go out there and spend lavishly. That's where a lot of people get it wrong when they say invest in the club. Because if you look at the likes of West Ham, for instance, they've invested a lot of money in the club in terms of buying players. But the players that they bought, are they good enough to be able to serve the purpose of the club, to be able to fit into the coach's philosophy and be able to produce in the environment called the English Premier League? That is the question. So the likes of Guido Rodriguez, they brought them in, they signed them for West Ham United, but they came in and nothing, zilch, because they were doing well at their previous clubs. But once they got into the English Premier League, then it became a whole difficult stint where they just didn't fit. And so that affected the overall quality of the team, and it affected their ability to produce. And so for Burnley, Scott Parker has done a better job than he has done in his previous EPL stints or campaigns, but still wasn't enough. I mean, we've just seen...
I'm interested to see the points build up in those previous campaigns, comparing it to this.
I mean, those previous campaigns, he didn't play out a full season.
Okay, there's that too. And then
he didn't play out the
teams and the personnel.
He didn't play out the full season. I mean, earlier, the time he was with Fulham, I think once they got to the 1/3 portion of the season, then at that time he was gone. Same with the AFC Bournemouth, then he was gone. So he didn't last long, or particularly long in those stints. So this time around, Burnley have been patient with him and have given him the chance to be able to redeem himself. And honestly, I'm sure they'll get relegated. But once that is made official, I wouldn't be surprised they'll give him time to get this team back up to the English Premier League. And per what they've shown so far in their campaign, yes, they can easily get back. But it's about making those minor tweaks. Like I've said, in this game, we played just 14 minutes. But as at the 9th minute mark, they had made two very big mistakes that could have easily turned into goals conceded, because they just weren't sharp enough and good enough playing out with the ball from the back. And I've always advocated that if you do not have the materials to do so, don't do it. Just go out there, hit it long. You have big bodies in the middle. Let them scrap for it in the middle of the park. Get some knock-on headers. Just win some aerial duels. Get busy. Win those 50-50 challenges. And once you do that, you're able to consistently put a little bit of pressure on the opposing back four, because if they do not win those aerial battles, you have a situation where it can easily create a mismatch. Or you can have a situation where Burnley can easily outnumber the AFC Bournemouth players, because if there's an aerial ball and they do not have enough bodies to attack it, and Burnley end up winning it, the ball falls at the feet of a Burnley attacker, then they are off to the races. And so in that sense, it gives them a bit of an advantage. But unfortunately for Burnley, I don't think it's built up in their DNA. Things have changed ever since the days of Sean Dyche, and so they are not the same anymore. But I honestly believe that, if they can just do the basic stuff and cut out the mistakes, they would have been in a better position. But at this point in time, I don't see it changing. I don't see them changing. And I think it's a bit too late in the season to be able to rescue their campaign to prevent them from getting relegated. So I think these sort of games are there for the players. They are there to make themselves available on the market. That yes, we might very likely get relegated, but here's what I've done. This is what I've put on tape. And so some teams will be quite interested in a couple of the players that they have. I mean, if you look at Kyle Walker, Kyle Walker is still serviceable for quite a number of lower tier teams in terms of the teams that are mid-table and to the lower end.
Yeah.
Hannibal Meshbury, a couple of players have looked decent, and so it wouldn't be too outlandish to believe that some of these guys are playing for their next team and for their next contract,
auditioning themselves for.
Yeah, and for Scott Parker, it's another way of showing that yes, they are on their way to the championship, but he's still able to get his message to his players. He's still able to get them to play good football, and they could get a couple of wins in there, and it will send a message that he's still able to get his players motivated enough to be able to go out there and try to get a win. And as a coach, that's a good sign, or those are good signs that you are in control and you know what you are doing. And it might not work for him now, but let's say they stick with him, they go to the championship, they come back, and they do a little bit well. That could be end up being his lucky break for him to be able to get to manage a better club. I wouldn't say a big club, but a better club than Burnley.
Burnley, okay. Just by way of updates, in Germany, it's Nicolas Jackson who's been shown a red card.
Oh boy!
For it happened in the 42nd minute. So the report says that it could have actually broken the Leverkusen's man's ankle, and the man I'm talking about is Terrier. It was a grisly challenge on him that brought a red card. That was shown to Nicolas Jackson. So Bayern are down by 1 man, and they are also losing to Leverkusen. How does that affect the table, though? Bayern are still top, 66 points, and Dortmund are winning, so 58. So the points gap is 8 points.
Even if Bayern end up losing,
it's still 8 points. I'm trying to force the conversation and make it look like, Dortmund are in some running, but it's still not going to happen. You know, we tried doing this last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the classic, and nothing happened.
Charlie Dortmund, they are just
the thing is, even if Bayern Munich lose their games or drop points, getting draws.
Yeah, so I think this will be, that's if it ends like
this. It will be their second defeat.
loss.
Yeah. It's because even Dortmund, you can't even trust them to get the job done. Because we've seen it happen. Where, at the time where Jude Bellingham was at Dortmund, his final game, all they needed was to win.
Yeah.
You win the trophy. You win the league title. They couldn't win. I think they drew. Yeah, they ended up getting a draw. That's how come Thomas Tuchel got that title win at Bayern Munich, despite the fact that he had been at the job for only 2.5 months. That was pretty much it, based off what Nagelsmann had already done. Now, so for me, the Bundesliga, I don't see it as a league that it should be discussed when it comes to title race, who is in contention, all that kind of stuff, because it's pretty much sealed and signed, and what is left is the delivery. Once Bayern Munich able to deliver a little bit, they don't even need to stretch themselves. That would be it. They'll win the title. And a little bit on Nicolas Jackson. You see, these are the things that...
Is it desperate?
No. I mean, how can you be desperate when Bayern Munich have already shown have already told you that they are not keeping you? Why should you be desperate?
Has that affected his approach to what he has to do week in, week out?
I wouldn't say so, because we've seen it happen before. Like the Liga folks say, there's precedence. There is precedence. He's done it at Chelsea. He's done it at Chelsea multiple times.
You're talking about the
indiscipline. Yes. And that's the thing that is affecting him. And once you do those things, yes, you hurt your team's chances of winning games in that particular game. But down the line, you are wrecking the trust that the manager has in you.
Yeah.
If I can't trust you to go get the job done, I'll find a way to either replace you or change the setup to ensure that you are not factored. And once that happens, it means that you are getting relegated to the bench or getting relegated down the pecking order in terms of the priorities of the coach.
Mm.
And once you do that, yeah, you're not helping your cause. Because, yes, it's true, he was quite wasteful and all of that in front of goal. But how many times have we not seen, I wouldn't say up-and-coming player, but fairly young players, especially forwards, miss quite a number of chances and be wasteful in front of goal? We've seen it happen multiple times. But when you are in that situation where you haven't reached consistent level and you worsen it by putting your team in such tight conditions and difficult conditions because you simply cannot stay disciplined. Stay disciplined to avoid making silly challenges, to avoid making silly tackles, getting booked, missing games down the line, and missing the game itself, missing significant games in a minute in the game.
Yeah.
And you put your team under a lot of stress because of that. And so for me, and oh yes, and on top of that, retaliation. He's always quick to retaliate. The slightest tackle, he gets angry. Then he wants to fight someone. Those things, if you do it, you will get yourself booked. And you won't be able to play in games because of accumulation of yellow cards. Or you get yourself sent off like this one. And once you do that, like I said, it hurts your team's ability to... Yeah, Kamal Dina has been introduced.
Okay.
It hurts your team's ability to...
Is that Kolasinac?
Kolasinac, yeah.
I see.
But Zappacosta is also at Atalanta.
Yeah.
So, those guys... I mean, the Serie A is always a welcoming place for old school or old heads. So, no surprising there. So, for Nicolas Jackson, it's a terrible look. It's a terrible look because, like I said, unless you are prolific, you can't make such mistakes. Because, again, the level of tolerance, it will definitely be low. But if you are at least prolific and you do these things, yeah, it will hurt your team all the same. But that trust will still be there because they know that, oh yeah, once he returns, he'll get the goals for us. He'll start scoring.
Yeah.
But you're inconsistent. We don't know whether you're getting the goals or you are helping us or you're just wasting chances. And you make it worse. You compound the problem by engaging in unnecessary stuff like this and get yourself sent off. It doesn't help the team. And if he continues like this, he won't be able to reach his full potential and he won't be able to play for top level teams anymore. Because those teams, the margins are so fine because of the competitions that they participate in.
Okay.
And so if you get yourself sent off and the team loses, you can make a deduction that the loss was directly correlated or down to your absence. Because those top tier teams, they are evenly matched. And if you keep on doing that, no top tier team will come for you. Because Chelsea doesn't want him. Bayern Munich are not keeping him. So where do you see him going next? Possibly Villarreal, a return to Villarreal, or Real Sociedad or Real Betis, those kind of teams where they are not terrible and they are not great either. Those are the kind of teams that I see him playing at, because the way he's going about his business, no top tier team will go in for him and trust him to be able to produce and on top of that be available. I don't see it happening.
Okay. Let's see what happens to Nicolas Jackson at Bayern Munich. Munich are losing by 1-0 to Leverkusen. They're also down by 1-1. Nicolas Jackson seen a red card. Let me do a quick update around regarding the scores from the league centers. In Germany, Bayer Leverkusen 1, Bayern Munich 0. Dortmund beating Augsburg by 1-0. It's half time. Frankfurt playing Heidenheim goalless. Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg is goalless in that game. Then Hamburger SV and FC Cologne will take place at 5:30 p.m. In the Italian Serie A, it's it's Inter 1, Atalanta 0 in the 69 minutes played in that game. And then in the is that Lau Foster the South African?
South African international.
What's he doing in the box?
Missed a very, very good chance for Burnley. Yes, I understand the ball was a bit behind him, but I mean, make the quick adjustments and
But it looks
smash
like
the ball.
Burnley would. I think Burnley will get a goal in the first half because every time I raise my head to watch the screen, it's always them in the half of Bournemouth.
Yeah, initially it was Bournemouth doing much of the attacking,
Okay.
but over the past 10 minutes, the momentum has swung. It has changed, and now it is FC Bournemouth who are doing more of the attacking because they look a bit more. They look a bit more settled into this game. Earlier on, they weren't too settled. A lot of passes going astray, but now the passes are finding their target and the players look a bit more composed.
Okay. So goalless between Burnley and Bournemouth. 27 minutes played at a Turf Moor. In the
There was no need for him to shift the ball back onto his right foot. Once he did that, it reduced the amount of space and time that he had. If he had maintained the ball on his left foot, he would have been able to shape his body up or open his body up a little bit and attempt a curler. But he didn't trust the quality in his left foot enough for him to be able to even attempt that. So he just shifted the ball towards his right foot, and that was exactly where the defender was, in very close proximity. And so, he couldn't make enough room to take that snapshot. Other than that, he would have been able to at least get the ball on target.
Yeah. Okay, so still goalless, 28 minutes played in that game in the PL. There's still one other game that is taking place at 3 p.m. at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland taking on Brighton and Hove Albion. Goalless in there. For Sunderland, I think they're pretty fine. There's nothing like relegation on their minds. I think probably just looking at the points build up, they can also count themselves in maybe the teams who are chasing a spot in Europe next season. But I'm not too sure that would be the team's objective, though. I think finishing the top half of the table probably S. So a 10th or 11th place finish, and you look at the games they have left to play so far, I think that is achievable. They play Newcastle next. That derby is something else. And then they play Spurs. There's Villa in the Forest, Wolves, who are already done. And then there's United.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think they're both done. I feel like people are being too quick to dismiss the possibility of these two teams going on.
Are you saying this looking at the points build up, or that is not into consideration?
No, I mean, so looking at the points now, I think.
Or you're saying it based on performance?
Burnley are, performances and points. Burnley are three wins away. They're 9 points away from Spurs.
Yeah.
So if you look at how Spurs are going and how Burnley are going, Burnley probably have more wins in their last 5 than Spurs. So I can imagine a situation where Burnley are able to pick up a couple of wins and maybe they're able to find a way to secure safety. Like we keep saying, the problem is who they can drag down with them. And Forest, while they've had a jump under Pereira, they haven't necessarily become an incredibly efficient team overnight. So it means he's going to have to perform the same magic he did at Wolves and make sure they can avoid relegation. And Spurs are Spurs. I'm hearing talk of Igor Tudor being talked about as the worst manager in Premier League history, which people need to chill a bit. Like
as the worst manager to what?
In Premier League history, I think once you have a minimum number of games, if you are not in as a caretaker,
he's yet to win a game, right?
He's yet to win a game. So the only person he can match is...
That's one start, hanging around them. Spurs as a team, and it's in a whole, are yet to win a game in 2026.
They've won 2 games in the Champions League in 2026. In the Premier League, they haven't won. I mean, it doesn't make it much better.
So why are they now shifting the thing on Igor Tudor.
I mean, no, but you bring in a manager so he can have an impact on the team. So if he doesn't have an impact on the team, I think that's valid reason to then get rid of the manager. So, and like I said, I don't know if it's his lack of PR or he doesn't speak to media. He doesn't have people in the media is instigating for him.
If you've taken a very good observation of the Italians who have been in a PR, especially with how they communicate with the press, they don't talk a lot, and sometimes the things they say can actually be misunderstood in so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, even the manager before him, Maresca at Chelsea, I think he suffered from that issue a bit. I mean, I get that, but I feel like this, and the thing that you see a lot of people mentioning now is that they should probably look in for a manager who has ties to the club. So I've heard.
Did I say he's Italian? He's Croatian.
He's Croatian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so the main thing is, they say they're looking for a manager who's, how do you call it, connected to the club in a way, and that's where the Harry Redknapp comes in. That's where there's talk of even like we've spoken about Ryan Mason or like just one of these players who come in and they know the club. And I just a little like with United, I think that element is a little overrated sometimes. That makes sense, because to me it's quite surprising how the players are willing to play more just because they have like the manager is affiliated with the club. It's just one of those intangibles. I feel like in rhetoric it probably makes a lot of sense to to hire someone who you think has experience at this field. But in terms of the problems personally, I don't think they necessarily just need someone who is connected with the club, and that's where Igor Tudor has been quite surprising, because you just need a jolt. You just need to wake up. Because
that's what Jurgen Klinsmann said, that the next head coach for Tottenham Hotspur should be someone who is emotionally connected with the team. And he went on to not rule himself out of the job, because he's a former Spurs player, played there for one season or two. Then he went on to play for a couple of other teams. Then he retired, and since he retired, he's coached the U.S. ambassador in the U.S. national team, and he's coached the German national team at the 2006 World Cup, where Germany finished third. Klinsmann was the head coach, and he made a statement that the next coach of Spurs should be someone who knows the club, who understands the club, who feels the passion of the club, and should be someone who is emotionally connected to the club. So that was just a little bit of context in the sense and I think once they do that, I think it limits their pool, because how many former Spurs players are there who are into coaching, or how many coaches are there in the world that have or are in demand, that have some connection to Tottenham Hotspur? Virtually none.
Where is Ryan Mason now?
I mean, he was a whole City led this season.
Yeah, he's one of
dismissed.
those who has also been pegged down.
Okay.
But
even the guy who's been talking plenty, Jimmy O'Hara, he should come and take the job.
Yeah, I'm hearing even Tim Sherwood and
so those guys,
it's just like the losers of affiliations, and it's and it's like the only reason it makes sense is the fans, because once you have someone who's from the club and they come in, usually the expectation is the club just back the people. You notice that Chelsea when Lampard came in.
Yeah.
We've seen at United a few times when Carrick came in, even when Fletcher came in interim. Like because you have you already have that emotional connection with the player. You want them to do well. So if you go into a stadium and things are not working out, maybe you can be a bit more patient. It takes you some time before you start booing the team and all that, which is fair enough. But I don't know if necessarily when you need to win games, it's different when you're trying to change the atmosphere at a club. But when you need to win games, I don't know if that necessarily is. If you're going to the reason Spurs haven't been winning is because the fans have been frustrated with them, I think that's unfair. I think you need to look at the football that they've been playing as well and find out why tactically and why in games they haven't been able to match up to oppositions. And for them in particular, I think it's just a lack of goals and a lack of a consistent goal scorer at this point in the season. And I think if Igor Tudor could find, I don't know, Kolomani was able to get a goal in the North London derby. But that still means that he's only scored in 2 games the whole season. One in the Champions League and once in the Premier League. And I don't think that's necessarily good enough for a team that thought they should be pushing into Europe. And we've spoken about Richarlison as well, and how he's quite a streaky striker, and how he he goes on a scoring run. So once you go a while without a run, it means that now who is the most prolific in your front line? It's probably Solanke since he came back from injury. But even he ever since he's been at Spurs, to be fair, since the move at Bournemouth worked out really well. And even that move at Bournemouth, I think, was based on one really good season that he had. Not to say that he's not necessarily at that level, but some players have really good seasons and they're never quite able to replicate it, and constantly chasing for that always makes it difficult. Yeah, Chelsea fan, I should use the example of Danny Drinkwater. When he played at Leicester next to N'Golo Kante, he looked as good as Fabregas. And I'm not even joking, but when he transferred him to the, how do you call it, to Chelsea, you're able to see that he was just someone playing really well.
Drinkwater.
Even Calvin Phillips, unfortunately, because I think he was much better. But I think ever since he went to City and that didn't quite work out for him, he hasn't been able to find his way back at the top level. So yeah. But for Spurs, you just hope that they should be too good to turn around. That's why I keep hearing, but that's not what I see when I watch them. I watch them play.
They should invest in the right personnel, be it the coach, be it the playing members. You look at AFC Bournemouth. Ryan, the Brazilian chap who came to essentially replace Antoine Semenyo after they sold Semenyo to Man City.
Yeah.
Look at how he's fared in the EPL so far. Proper scouting. But Spurs, you look at the way they've signed their players, and it's a mismatch. And a mashup of 3 different philosophies. So there's the Ange Postecoglou group, where you have players who love to have the ball at their feet, play, express themselves, like Dejan Kulusevski, like James Maddison, there's Kudus in there, those guys. Then you have the Thomas Frank group. Thomas Frank's group, tight, very
difficult to beat. I mean, yes,
very
solid
strict in their way, or old school, or stuck in their ways, in the sense that they are not versatile enough, and their game doesn't give much room for any kind of imagination or creativity.
If I can give Thomas Frank a little credit,
Joao Palhinha, they are not creative. They don't have that creativity in their game. I mean, Bentancur is Uruguayan. He has a bit of creativity, but it's quite limited in terms of the skill set. Pape Sarr, hard runner, can do a lot of things, but creativity-wise, not up there.
I mean, if I just wanted to give Thomas Frank just a little credit. I think when you work at a team like Brentford, obviously they've had world-class players before, but if you look at the level, I think at that level, like I keep saying, is a system that he needs to win. So he's not necessarily always reliant on having exceptional players. Obviously, he has really good functional players within a system who play a role, but I don't think he's ever had differential players who on their own can win games for you. And at a different level, the higher you go up, it becomes just a bit harder. So I don't know how much that's affected his recruitment. So rather than recruiting players, obviously Xavi Simons is probably the star signing, the exception to that. But the rest of them were just very solid workman, like we'll put in a shift and we'll keep the game solid, and these players win it for us. And I just don't think he had enough experience at that level and knowing the type of players and how to motivate those different type of players.
Okay. Because do you see, let's say Ange Postecoglou is coaching Tottenham Hotspur, and the management manages to get him Xavi Simons. Do you see, especially when James Maddison is not available, Dejan Kulusevski is not available, but Xavi Simons is being played out wide? I don't see it happening, knowing very well that he's not the kind of player you play out wide, because he can't deal with the physicality of the fullbacks in the EPL, and he's not fast enough, so he simply would struggle, and that's why that should be a penalty. That should be a foul.
Yeah, so that's
I'm
that's
surprised
why
it wasn't given. I think there are few just waiting.
That's why the
see
Inter players are protesting, Because okay, look at this again.
So there was a slip, and unfortunately, his back foot made contact with Kamaldeen Suleiman's groin area.
Yeah, but Kamaldeen too was
I think he should have-
pushing.
Yeah, a little bit. So I think he'll be chopped off.
And I think he should have either scored or done a little better. Because once you go into that position,
Kamaldeen?
he opened his body up excessively. And
I've
he
seen
didn't
him,
really,
seen him in similar positions like this. This is what he does.
I mean, you can that position. He found
But it's
himself in.
it's actually a difficult one because where he's trying.
yeah,
to,
but it's a little wide. So he's far too wide. So he has to, and no matter how much he opens himself up, he's still going center. So he has
And
to
even-
shift it a bit and then shoot it and then try and get around
And
the ball.
even the height of the strike,
So
it was too high for
so
the
it's-
goalkeeper to be able to easily save it.
yellow card to who? Is it Kamaldeen Suleimana?
No. It's to the interplay. This is.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you are bending the ball into the net, you don't bend it that high. Because you make it easy for the goalkeeper to get down and save it.
Mm-hmm.
You play it on the surface, along the surface of the turf
With conviction.
with conviction. That's how you do it. But the way he played it, it makes it easy for the goalkeeper to save it.
But what is Dumfries complaining about?
He's insisting that article. I think he's saying he was pushed, and that he would. The problem with Kamaldeen is I think he has a hand on the back of Dumfries, and when you slow it down, it looks like
He's pushing Dumfries.
Okay.
And I don't think
Okay, he
that
pushed him. There was a push, and he tripped, and he slipped too.
yeah, but we go down that line where this is someone who's slipping, and this is two players. He's trying to get his balance. So
Yeah.
he places his hand on his back. I can see what Kamaldeen is trying to do, but
I think
At the same point
referee
too.
has taken it.
yeah, I think
I've
the
accepted.
referee is allowed to go, and he's given a red card to
To
the-
who?
Christian
To one of
Kivu.
the bench.
I think it's Christian Kivu. Yeah,
That's
the
Kivu.
Inter Milan manager has been sent off.
Referee's taking
He's
zero
quite
nonsense.
disappointed with the decision that was going against his team.
Well, is the
Yeah,
goal
and-
standing or not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the goal has
yeah,
been
it's
given.
fine.
I think Dumfries
Okay.
is quite upset that the goal was given. I mean, in FPL, in fantasy terms, it's probably an assist for Kamaldeen.
Look
but
at see.
no, come on. I mean,
but I think Dumfries was already
That's the
losing
point.
his.
that's the
his
problem.
foot.
It looks like he was slipping, but at
Yeah.
the same time, too,
Kamaldeen's action to maybe.
I think there
So
was
Dumfries is. I'm sure he's making a complaint that he was being pushed.
I mean, his Kamaldeen's hand was outstretched.
Yeah.
There was full stretch, and into the back of Dumfries, and already Dumfries wasn't stable on his feet because I think he slipped a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then, in his attempt to recover his balance, that's when Kamaldeen made contact with his hand, outstretched hand, to the back of Dumfries, and then he tripped, and while falling or while trying to stay upright, his back foot hit the groin area of
Dumfries.
Kamaldeen,
Yeah.
and that's when he fell. So yeah,
So-
it's a dodgy one,
Well,
but honestly, I would give it as a foul.
Yeah, and it's one of those things when you look at VR, their main instruction is: have you seen a clear and obvious error? So on the field, if the referee gives this as a goal, unless you can see something that clearly shows that the referee has made a decision in made a mistake in his decision making, not necessarily that he's made a decision you don't agree with. He's made a clear error in his decision making.
Unless it's super clear.
Yeah, super clear. And I
Yeah,
think
and
that
in
was
this case, it wasn't super
a subjective
clear.
decision. So
That's
once the
another
referee,
incident there.
yeah.
The referee's just right there.
My problem with
look
that
at it.
thing is sometimes it now creates a system where, and you notice it during the EFL Cup or some of the games, the referees are too reliant on VR.
Yeah.
So they'll rather let the decision play and assume that if I get it wrong, VR will correct me.
Mm-hmm.
But in that sense, they are given a decision, but they are, they are just waiting for the evidence to change how they feel about it. But if that doesn't happen, it means they have to go with their on-field
Even
decision.
with this,
I think the game is actually growing physical though.
because
In the second half
I think
especially.
this should be even given as looked at as a penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look,
Fatesi got his foot to the ball.
he missed the ball.
Yeah, no, Fatesi got his foot to the ball.
No, I'm talking about the Inter defender.
No, the Atalanta defender.
Sorry, the Atlanta defender.
Yeah, so I think this should be looked at. Honestly, I'll be surprised because Fatesi got his foot to the ball.
Wow.
I understand why they are pissed.
I mean, if you are just listening and wondering, it's 1-0 between Inter and Atalanta. There's so much discussion around this because if Inter draws with Atalanta, they drop points again. That will be
Yeah,
back
that
to
would
back,
be-
and it would have slight implications on.
I mean, for neutrals, it will make
Exactly.
the league title chase
Yeah, I'm sure
interesting.
AC
but
Milan to be looking at
yeah,
this. this game very keenly.
But it's still a long gap. Then it becomes what?
It is.
If now win, it becomes 8 points.
It would become 5.
Yeah, 5
Yes.
points.
Because if they had
they
beaten
drop
AC
points.
Milan, they would have had the 10-point gap. But AC Milan beat them. And so the 7-point gap was maintained. And now, if they end up drawing, they've dropped 2 points. So if AC Milan win, it will be 5 points. And that makes it quite interesting. And you have how many games? What, 9 games to go?
Yeah, so they have this is March week 29.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
9.
9 games.
Yeah.
9 games to go. Yeah, it will make things quite interesting. So yeah, they need to win this game, or maybe pray AC Milan lose. But you can't do that. So take matters into your own hands. Take charge, get the win, and yeah, the Atalanta equalizer came in a bit late.
AC Milan's game tomorrow too is not that easy. They are taking on Lazio.
I mean,
Taking on
At
Lazio
the San
tomorrow.
Siro?
No, AC Milan is going away.
to
the Olympics,
Rome.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
Lazio are 10th on the table. So if Milan win tomorrow, then it's 68-63.
Yeah, but they have they still have about 5 minutes. Yeah, right now it's 89th minute. I'm pretty sure because of the VAR check, the controversies that brew, they will add about 2 more minutes to your standard 3 additional minutes. So yeah, I'm looking at 5 minutes. They have enough time to be able to get the win.
We're talking earlier about Kamaldeen and the impact of the bench. It doesn't, like what I was saying, doesn't necessarily credit as an assist, but
I mean, you have to
he caused the goal.
Okay, cool.
I mean, yeah.
Because other players would have given up on the chase. I mean, he put pressure on Dumfries.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll credit him for more or less sticking with the press and making the defender uncomfortable, putting the defense under pressure, and more or less forcing a mistake and creating something out of nothing. Yeah, because this one, it came out of nothing.
We are trying to fix things for Kamaldeen.
Oh no, but
I mean,
it came out of nothing.
No,
so
I'm saying that if he's somebody who is like his final third has been efficient, I don't think we'll quite get a point.
Yeah, we show no surprise.
I don't think we'll be struggling with.
Yeah, even that chance that he more or less created and forced the save out of the goalkeeper, it should have been a goal.
Yeah.
He should have scored that goal.
It's just like somebody has done a pre-assist, and then you are trying to get him involved. Of course.
To be fair, if I'm giving him credit, I should discredit the keeper a little because the save. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the strongest shot in the world, and to palm it right to the first Atalanta player you see that.
But how would you criticize the goalkeeper?
I mean, because I understand I keep straight at him, but as a goalkeeper, what you are told to do is go as wide as possible.
Yeah, but he went as wide as possible because look at where the angle Kamaldeen shot the ball from. The goalkeeper pointed it this way.
Maybe the power was
so he did the standard thing that goalkeepers are supposed to do.
Yeah, Charlie.
I mean, the ball comes in from the
Atlanta or now?
from the left.
Yeah.
And he points it towards the right.
Yeah.
Away from goal.
Yeah,
It's just that the Atalanta player was in the right place at the right time. And the Inter defenders were caught ball watching.
Yeah.
So for me, I won't blame the goal.
I mean, but I wanted to ask, do you think Kamaldeen has improved since he's been to Atalanta? If you remember the Kamaldeen from Southampton.
No.
And
I think
no, I don't think
slightly.
No, I don't think he's improved. I don't think he's improved.
There's that too.
I
Because
mean, there are some players that.
his time at Southampton, what exactly did he do?
well, Southampton, I
the
don't
Man
think
United
that
game. That's the standout game for me in his career at Southampton. That Man United game.
Are we talking before they were relegated or
No,
when they
before they got relegated, it was the last game of the season.
Yeah.
That season that they got relegated, it was the final game against Liverpool,
yeah, the
where he
4-4
scored
game.
twice. That was the standout moment in his first season at Southampton.
Everybody's talking.
Yeah, then they went to the championship. He got injured for a significant part of it. Didn't necessarily impress. Then they gained promotion to the league, and that was last season. And nothing happened. That aside that Man United game where he ripped Lenny Euro apart.
Yeah.
That was it. Then they got relegated again.
And then they got
Ivan Juric took him to Atalanta. Ivan Juric got sacked. Rafael Palladino has taken over, and still, nothing. I mean, there was that one game there was that one game where he gave an assist and he scored.
Mm.
That was late last year, 2025-2026 season, but as in the calendar year 2025. Yeah, that was it. Pretty much, that was the standout game that I saw of Kamaldeen in an Atalanta jersey. So for me, he hasn't improved.
Okay.
And yeah, I think he needs to improve now, because otherwise he will get stuck in the Adama Traore space, football space, where you have everything there is to excel, but some way somehow you are just like this, flat.
Mm-hmm.
You have speed, you have great balance, you have power, you have
That's a very good. Oh my goodness!
you have the trickery.
What's he doing?
Gianluca Scamacca.
Yeah, it was.
I know.
That was a very good move.
You have the trickery, you have the dribbling ability, everything. But some way, somehow, he just can't put it together. I mean, when was the last time that you saw Kamaldeen deliver a top-level cross? And he's a winger.
He doesn't even like whipping in crosses.
And that's the thing. Like, how can you be a winger and not necessarily even cross the ball like 4 times in a game? That for me is weird.
Yeah. That
for me is weird. Very, very weird.
Okay. Also in Germany, Harry Kane. The goal is not checked again. Oh, Bayern Munich. What's going on with Bayern? Harry Kane scored, but the goal has been checked by VAR. So we'll try and get you the updates. Looks like today is not a good day for Bayern Munich. But as it stands, it's still 1-1 between the two sides.
And Kamaldeen is one of those players that, I mean, his reputation has...
Well, yeah, the goal has been chalked off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Then it's just one of those days where nothing seems to be
There's still a lot to play, though. 63 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Then I'm pretty sure they will be fine. But per the way things are going, it could end up being one of those days where
for Bayern,
the football gods just simply decided not to smile on you. Where no matter how good you are, no matter how many chances you produce, the ball just refuses to go into the net. It just could be one of those odd days. But back to Kamaldeen. Look, he should really get his act together, because
I mean, just to back up what you're saying. So the game that he played was against Torino. He scored and got an assist.
Yeah,
he scored in back-to-back games and he hasn't scored since.
He hasn't scored since. Those were that was the only standout moment period in Kamaldeen's time at Atalanta player. Other than that, I don't see anything.
I mean, he also got his assist, yeah, so he hasn't had an assist since then. So that means he's on a barren spell of over 10, 12 games now in the league for...
As a winger, yeah, that's not good. And for me, if he doesn't get his act together, look, he should be taken to the World Cup. But if he still does not develop, we should be looking at benching him or dropping him from the squad. Because just as we've done with other wingers, because you remember this chap, Ibrahim Osman, also from Right to Dream Academy, went to Northern, just like Kamaldeen Suleimana. Speedy, very good dribbler, he's a winger, everything. He came in, it wasn't working for him. Club level, he got signed by Brighton over Albion, went on loan to Feyenoord, came back, went on loan to AJ Auxerre, didn't work, and now he's on loan at Birmingham City. Now he's getting a couple of assists here, getting a goal there. He looks like he's getting back to his best level.
Yeah.
And this is the time we need to bring him back to the Black Stars. At some point, Kamaldeen Suleimana, the same treatment should be meted out to him. That you should be able to start producing for your club. Other than that, you don't get to get called up. Because especially when the position that he is in or the position that he plays, there are other options. So, yeah, if he doesn't back up, it will get to a point where, look, his Black Stars days might be put on hold for a while. Yeah, the game has ended. Oh, man. So, 1-1.
Okay. So the game has ended. Inter 1, Atalanta 1 in the Italian Serie A. So it's 8 points between Inter and AC Milan. AC Milan are in action later tomorrow. They take on Lazio. If AC Milan win, it will be 5 points separating the two sides, Inter and AC.
I think
let's see what happens.
And these days, I think in recent times, the Italian Serie A referees are also beginning to act like the EPL referees, where games are done or games get to an end, and all the talk is about the referees. In recent times, you remember the Juventus Inter Milan game?
Yeah.
The Pierre Kalulu dismissal.
Yeah.
Where was that from? He barely touched Bastoni. Bastoni acted like he had been shot by a bullet, and the referee dishes the yellow card to Pierre Kalulu, red card. You are dismissed because you committed a blatant foul. And Juventus directly lost the game because of that. Because they were down by a man for about 70 minutes. They battled all the way to 2-2 till the very last moment. Then Zelinski scored that brilliant goal.
Yeah.
And Inter Milan ended up winning that game by 3-2. And now this, where you have this challenge on quote unquote Dumfries. And this controversial issue pops up, and the referee decides that the goal should stand. Honestly, I don't think the goal should have stood because it wasn't clear cut. And once it's dicey, you just go with the decision that tilts towards, let's say, the defender or the defenders. You give them a little bit of an advantage. That's how you broker these kind of difficult decisions. So if it's in the opposite direction, you give it to the attacker, because if a defender, that's the best way. Let's flip it. If Kamaldeen was the one in Denzel Dumfries' position, and Denzel Dumfries did what Kamaldeen did to Denzel Dumfries, wouldn't Kamaldeen have been given a foul?
Yeah.
So why is it that when it was the opposite way, Denzel Dumfries didn't get a foul?
You think he would have got a penalty if he had?
Yes, he would have gotten a penalty.
Yeah.
Because they look clumsy. You get it? It look clumsy. And if it's a clumsy challenge in the box, then it will be.
It looks. I mean, I don't know if this will be the Salah, but Luis Diaz looked like he scored for Bayern to get them level. But
Bayern have scored again.
So I don't think the referee have been doing a great job in recent times, and this is another example.
It's an equalizer from Bayern Munich. Hopefully, this is a proper goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think they lost. Leverkusen gave away possession quite.
In your own house, Olise takes the ball.
Yeah, Olise takes the ball. He's also on the.
That's a good goal.
Well, how many assists does he have? 17?
That's what I'm saying.
I think this will be 17th assist.
Yeah.
He's looking to break the assist record for the.
Oh man, how do you give a no-look pass in that area?
Why would you give a no-look pass in a game of this intensity at that time? It's surprising because I don't. Bar Roberto Firmino, I haven't seen a lot of players do the no-look pass. I saw Casemiro did a good one the other day.
Has been doing it for Chelsea.
But why wouldn't you just look? Like that, like you don't.
He did it and he gave one away and then punished Chelsea. Charlie, the way that Chelsea people.
No, but I've never understood
the Chelsea
that.
fans came at him on X.
What do you gain from not looking at the ball when you're passing?
No, why do you attempt a no-look pass in that area? Do it upfield. Styling.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, what does it really add? Because you look before you pass. It's not like you don't look at all.
It
It's
makes
different
it nice.
from.
But
my goodness.
you see what? And was it? Yeah, even in this game, this Burnley AFC Bournemouth game, the defender was caught in a very tight angle, and he played the ball back to the goalkeeper blindly, believing that the goalkeeper would be there. But the pass that he gave, because he gave it blindly, if a Bournemouth player was sharp enough, he would have been able to race through the middle and intercept that ball. But so once he made that pass, I just asked myself, so what happened to you just kicking the ball out of play and falling back to defend?
I mean, and that's the thing about a football game. Like, you spend the whole game trying not to concede, and then someone does like one silly thing at a certain moment, and everything that you have done before.
Down like that.
Yeah, it's gone
Team
down the
sport,
drain.
team sport is very difficult. That's why team sports, all the sports disciplines that have teams, a team orientation about it, they are generally highly rated than the individual sport. Because if it's an individual sport, it's all about you.
See what who is that? Is it Upamecano or is it?
Individual sport, it's all
He's
about
just
you.
giving you a good example of team sports.
But
Another person is Jorgensen.
in your individual sports, you just do your thing and go.
Yeah.
It's all on you. But team sports, you are playing your role. You played your role very well. Then,
Another
like
person,
you said, Jorgensen.
Yeah, Richard Ofori. Don't touch the ball.
Then you go and touch it. Then now we concede and we are going home. Jorgensen, Champions League. What was he trying to do?
Just
passing out from the back.
PSG 2 goals.
Look at Newcastle, Barcelona. How Newcastle played that game. Then an unnecessary tackle is made. Penalty in the last minute, 94th minute. Lamine Yamal scores the goal. Newcastle won, Barcelona won. It's very difficult.
It ruins everything.
It ruins
all
everything.
the hard work undone.
So
That's
why team sports are generally highly more rated than individual sports in my book, because it's very difficult to be able to win with a collection of people, because Charlie, the might be different.
Yeah, different approach to things.
When
even war rehearsed on the day of execution, then you have just one person doing something else to renovate. Well, let's take another break, but before we go, let me take some comments on YouTube. It says Coventry City lost to Southampton by 2-1. Yeah. Okay. If Leverkusen cannot beat 10-man Bayern, they cannot beat Arsenal. Victor Jokeres will destroy this Abonkele team. From Cook. Okay, no, it's Cook. Yeah. Okay, it says he goes on to say that's right to dream train their players to pass the ball. It's only about dribbling like headless chicken. Are you talking about Kamadi Cinema? Because it's been that.
I think you're making a general point about the Ghanaian wingers who played for.
Right. Yeah, I was about to go. I don't go there.
I mean, but
I think most of them, because they are focused on technical ability.
But that's a very good question.
So they are focused on beating
the
your
latest
man.
chap is the Prince Amako.
Yeah, Prince Junior Amako. He's also the same.
Yeah.
Dribbling, speed.
When I watch him, I just see Osman Ibrahim.
The same.
Like he just moves like
but
him.
I think they need to put more.
That's
emphasis.
I think
they need to put more emphasis on developing players in other areas.
I mean, but then the other player, I don't think you see
Yeah,
the same.
they are the ones that hit.
How about Simon Adenga?
Exactly. From there, right?
Yeah,
he do the same thing. So it looks like they are that department.
Yeah,
is the department where they have a lot of players that hit or make it to the top leagues.
Yeah,
because when was the last time you heard of a
defender or a left back?
I mean, the only one I know of is Maxwell Weleji.
Yeah. Oh, he's from there?
Yeah, he played at Right to Dream Academy. Yeah. He was.
Yuenchi didn't come from.
Caleb Yuenchi. Yeah, he also came from Right to Dream. He's midfielder. So. Yeah, you don't necessarily see most of them.
I mean, but to their credit, that's like if you see a winger that has everything,
like
and all he needs is decision making. Because that's about to come out in like the only thing left is decision making.
Decision making.
Because he has the speed, technical ability, anything.
Yeah.
If he knew what he wanted to do when he got the ball,
even
could be.
It's the decision making that sometimes evades him, but just that he is able to make enough good decisions that it doesn't become problematic like the way it has become with Kamaldeen Suleiman. Because how many times have we sat here and watched the game, Ghana game, and go like, just release the ball. Like, yo.
Remember Inaki Kamaldeen?
You see Semenyo run. You see Semenyo make a run. You see Iñaki Williams make a run. Then the next moment, you know, they turn and they open their arms. They didn't get a service.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even with Kudus, yeah, it's a bit of a big question mark on his game. So yeah, it's a great observation the guy has made.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like the academy focuses more about technical ability, dribbling, beating your man, and so far it has generated a lot of top level wingers, but they are not able to make it to the elite level because there is something left, which is called the decision making bit.
Just on Olise, going through according to transfer market leads, this is his 26th assist of the season in all competitions. Maybe his 19th in the Bundesliga, and I just with 15 goals and 26 assists. And last season, he was in the Bundesliga alone. He had 14 assists. So I think he's going to be hitting a season where he gets about 20 plus assists. Yeah, over 30 goal contributions put together. 30, 40 goal contributions.
Mkhitaryan did that when he was at Borussia Dortmund before he moved over to Manchester
he went 20
United.
plus goals and assists.
Yeah,
and
I think Olise is very underrated because if you talk about left wingers, inverted wingers. Also, people will talk about Bukayo Saka, but looking at how things have gone over the past 2 seasons, I'll pick him ahead of Bukayo Saka.
And it's his prominence that's probably led to Leroy Sané not being able to have the same impact on the wing position at Bayern. So it should tell you about. I mean, I think his quality is just outstanding. From Crystal Palace, I think it was evident even when he was there. There are some players where you see them and you're like, you could play at a much better level. So to see him playing at Bayern and just taking it all in his stride, I think he'll be one of the key players, he and Kane, for Bayern if they're able to do anything in the Champions League. Because that side of the door is really hard. It looks like Real Madrid now, but if they come up against Real Madrid, they'll definitely need both players in good form.
Okay. We're going for a quick break. We come back. There's more football talk for you right here, 97.3. This is the Republic of Football. Live on YouTube, City Sports Ghana and City FM. Feel free to join the conversation. 0539 986 996. 0539 986 996. We're back with more. On the break, I'm WFR. This is the Republic of Football, 97.3. This is the place to listen to every weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Your home for everything European football talk. You have that updates, the scores, the reactions. Just trying to bring you closer to your team. Here we update you with the current league standings, the top goal scorers, and also the live updates from all the league centers. As we speak, it's a second yellow card for Bayern Munich. Luis Diaz trying to be smart. The referee was there just right on time. I've taken the best of decisions regarding that. Yeah, so Bayern are down. It's 1-0 still. Bayern Leverkusen 1, Bayern Munich also 1. And then to the good of Dortmund, they do have a 2-goal lead against Salzburg at the Signal Iduna Park. Then Frankfurt are losing to Heidenheim. It's Frankfurt 1, Heidenheim 0. Frankfurt are also down by 1-1. 3 red cards this week. German League. Hoffenheim are playing a 1-0 draw with Wolfsburg. Then Hamburger SV will take on FC Cologne at 5:30. When you head to the Italian Serie A, Inter played out a 1-0 draw with Atalanta. Then at 5 p.m. there's Napoli taking on Lecce. Udinese will take on Juventus. In the English Premier League, Burnley are taking on Bournemouth. Goalless. Sunderland are taking on Brighton. It's goalless there. Then later at 5:30, Arsenal are in action against Everton. Same time, we'll see Chelsea, Newcastle. And then West Ham, Man City at 8 p.m. 0549986996 0549986996. That's the WhatsApp text lines. On YouTube, if you're watching us there, you can also leave your thoughts with us on YouTube. Yeah, and I would read them. Okay. Yep. So just leave your thoughts there, and I'll take that message. Lorraine have just scored against Lyon in the French Liga. So it's Lorraine 1, Lyon 0 in the French Liga. Later at 6 p.m. there's Angers taking on OGC Nice. And then at 8:05 p.m. Monaco will play Stade Brestois or Brest in the English.
But Gabi, just a quick one.
Yeah.
Looks like today's games, the referees
have not been.
They really put themselves
So
their names
one,
out there.
you've seen one in Italian Serie A, you're seeing another in Germany.
Yeah, that was a very harsh yellow card on Luis Diaz. It was very harsh. It wasn't a blatant dive.
Okay.
For him to get booked for a second time and get dismissed from the game.
Okay.
I think it was very
so
harsh.
You thought that, okay, fair enough. Take off. The goal shouldn't have. I'm sorry. What he did in the penalty box.
It was just a normal 50-50 challenge that the goalkeeper ended up coming out.
You speak with the player and then let
it
go. You don't show a second.
No. I don't even think that he needed to be spoken to. There's no need to speak to him because it was a 50-50 challenge. He missed the ball because the goalkeeper made a good save, and in the end, he got clattered into the goalkeeper. I mean, he tried to hook his foot against the goalkeeper's leg. It's not a dive.
Well, Sweet Palmy says he disagrees. It's a dive.
It's not a dive. I mean, because in that particular situation, things are moving very fast.
Yeah.
A dive is when there's no contact, absolutely no contact.
Yeah.
And you just throw yourself to the turf. That is a dive. And in this situation, it wasn't as like a terrible dive in itself. And I don't think it was even a dive in the first place. he was trying to be a bit clever with the rules, where you know when there's contact in the penalty box and you go down, it's a penalty, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, he tried to be a little bit smart by trying to initiate the contact, but it wasn't egregious enough to be yellow carded for it.
Okay.
And get sent off, or get him sent off. I thought it was a little bit harsh in that sense. And yeah, the Inter situation, we saw it play out with this AFC Bournemouth Burnley game, where the attacker beat his man. He knew he wasn't going to get to the ball before the defender came in, and he just put his body in the way, in between himself and the ball. The slightest contact, he fell down. He got a foul. So the same thing that happened in the Inter-Atalanta game, where Kamaldeen's push or shove on Denzel Dumfries and that little trip, I think it was not too clean enough to be able to give a foul in favor of Denzel Dumfries. Because just like I said, if it had been the opposite, chances are very high that the striker would have been given the advantage and a penalty would have been given. And so if the roles are reversed, why don't you give the advantage to the defender? And in this case, Denzel Dumfries. So I think it wasn't fair. And yeah, I've stated that the referee, I don't agree with them on the decision that they've made so far in some of the games that we've seen.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. 63 minutes at the Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0. At 4:30, would activate the phone lines, and then you can call us. So we talk. Text line 0539986996 0539986996. That's the text line. So just leave your thoughts with us and I'll read them out for you. Well, let's take it to Germany and Bayer Leverkusen. 2, Bayern Munich 1. After all the hard work, Leverkusen do have the lead against Bayern Munich now. I think, I'm not sure Bayern would be able to recover from this year. Are you surprised with that scoreline though?
I mean, once the second red card came in, yeah, it was always going to be too much of a stretch of an ask for Bayern Munich to stay in the game and go ahead and potentially get a win. But it looks, the goal has been chopped off. Yeah, the goal has been chopped off. So yeah, lucky close shave for Bayern Munich. And I mean, they deserved it because they scored twice. Yeah. It's been chopped off. They have 2 dismissals. yeah, they deserved a lucky break. They really did. And yeah, now it has given them a little bit of a jolt. And yeah, they are attacking. Look at them right now. They've been able to get a free kick. And yeah, I look to see what they'll be able to do with this free kick, because
how many minutes left to play? 4 minutes, right?
yeah,
They are
4
doing
minutes. Eight plus
added.
eight
Okay.
added minutes. So yeah, they could do something. I mean, plausibly and realistically, this is the only way they can get to be able to attack and get their foot on the ball, because they are seriously outnumbered, and getting a set piece like this in such a position, yeah, they can.
Should make it count.
They can do something with it.
All right. So 4 minutes to left to play in Germany. It's Leverkusen still taking on Bayern Munich 1-0 in that game. Elsewhere at the Turf Moor, still goalless. Burnley, Bournemouth, but Sunderland do have the lead. Is it Brighton rather? Brighton, yeah. Yakuba Minte. Yeah, your man.
Yeah, it's a good guy.
He's given Brighton a lead. 68 minutes played in that game. Yeah, Brighton would be hoping to seal this win, get the 3 points, and then move on to the next.
Yeah, and there's a bit of an injury issue in the Burnley Bournemouth game. So let me use the opportunity to say this. Look, I look at that Bournemouth team, and you look at some of the players that have been sold, and the kind of replacements that they've made without much significant quote unquote investment in terms of committing a lot of resources to get guys who will replace them. So, for instance, the right back position, there's this chap, Jimenez, very aggressive, very willing to cross the ball, just like Crystal Palace's Munoz. I honestly, I've been impressed with everything that he's done so far since his arrival at the club. They look at Ryan, like I've mentioned on a couple of occasions previously. So, to all the clubs, that's why honestly, when people criticize teams and team owners for not investing, I tend to be a bit hesitant with that, because especially when the team owners or the teams have made significant investment and signed players. Even with Man United, for instance, back in the day when the hate against the Glazers was an all-time high, you don't invest in the club, I just look back and I ask myself, this is a club that spends 90 million euros to get Jadon Sancho. Then the following season they spend 100 million pounds to get Anthony. That is significant investment, but it just didn't pan out. The players did not commit themselves, and it just didn't work. In that sense, you cannot say that the club hasn't made investment or hasn't invested in the team. They have made investment, but it's just that sometimes it's not an exact science.
Okay.
It's not an exact science that you bring in a player, he's doing very well in another club. You bring him to your club, particularly in another league. You bring him to a different league where your club is competing in, and he gets to replicate the same form or even get better with this production. It's not an exact science.
Okay.
But that's what separates the great scouts from the just good scouts, where they can get to sign players 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, they become hits or they do well. And looking at how Bournemouth have conducted their business, Brentford, the same. Brighton and Hove Albion used to hold that torch.
Yeah.
Now it looks like their scouting has taken a little bit of a hit, and that's what makes them great, in the sense that they buy on the low side, and they come in and they're able to produce, and in some cases they can sell and make a ton of profit.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you are Tottenham Hotspur And let's say back in the day, they were good at doing that, where they will bring in a Gary Bill and get to sell him for cheap and get to sell him for over 100 million euros, which at that time was a world record fee.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of investment that they used to do. But now it's not the same. But that doesn't mean that the club isn't investing. They are investing. I mean, look at the amount of money they paid to get Javi Simmons.
Yeah.
They paid to sign Joao Palhinha this off-season, but it just didn't work, like I said. So it happens. But for people to flat out say, yeah, the team doesn't invest, I disagree. Which team doesn't invest in this modern day and era of football? They all invest. It's just that the level of investment and the type of investment, as in the type of players that you go in for, that's what that's what counts, and it goes a long way in determining how successful your team turns out to be or not.
Okay. It's 4:30 0549 96 996. Full lines activated. Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. That game has ended 1-0 between the two sides. That game was, the second half was very dramatic.
Honestly, I don't think Vincent Kompany should go on the pitch and try to speak with the referee, because he's hot right now.
If you were in,
I won't go. I won't go to the referee
because of the some of the decisions.
Yeah, because he's pissed. He was pissed with a lot of the decisions of the referee. And knowing him, he has quite a temper too.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be great if he goes onto the pitch, because he might just end up getting himself also red carded and having to miss games on the sideline. I think he should just save himself in any kind of trouble and just. Now he's already shaking hands with some of
his opposite coach and
the players and the technical men on the opposite side. Just go into the dressing room.
Yeah.
I don't think you should walk onto the pitch.
You can also call us and share your thoughts with us. 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Yeah. Okay, I think we do have our first caller. Hi, your name, where are you calling us from?
Hello.
Hi, your name, please.
My name is Pepe. I call from Fadama.
Your name is what?
Pepe.
Pepe.
Yeah, boy.
You good?
Is that?
Everything cool?
Everything fine.
Talk to me, Pepe. Why? Are you listening to yourself? Yeah, please turn down the volume for me, okay? Thank you so much.
Actually.
All right.
I like the Champions League talk finished.
What do you say?
The Champions League matter, you talk finished.
Which one exactly?
No, Champions League.
The Champions League. You know, we've not spoken about it.
Oh,
you're talking about the second leg they come, eh?
As to not now no say you go talk about it, because how you go day one I talk to.
But we think this oh, you be just by
you don't listen.
Y'all no talk about Chelsea today. Today the only thing we talk about small be the jogging center.
There we thank God.
But share with me your thoughts. What be your thoughts about that second leg?
Today Chelsea go win. That Jackson idiot. I'm not sure say he will come back to Chelsea again. Because today the way we do investment for that guy, he make we lost something. Okay, so thank you.
All right, so that's our first caller, Pepe. He's a Chelsea fan. Sharing his thoughts. 054996 996 0549. Ouch. 996 996. Please call us. Let's get talking.
I'm not trying to rile up the Chelsea fans, but last week they seemed very confident that
they'll be PSG.
Yes, that anyone thinking that PSG will score them did not analyze the situation properly. So I just like to hear that.
They back those analysis with what happened in the final, the FIFA club.
Yeah,
it was a one-off game.
And that's why I just like to hear from the perspective of the Chelsea fans who actually saw the game and didn't necessarily think that we underrated them. But we just gave an analysis of the game and how it played out.
Let's jump on to the phone lines now. Hi, any more you calling us from?
March.
Hello.
Can you please update me?
Come again. Hello.
Hello?
Yes. What your name, please? Where are you calling us from?
I'm Gilbert from Termouth.
Gilbert, talk to me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Gilbert, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to know the sort of
The what?
Bayern Munich and then Liverpool thing.
It's 1-0. The game has ended. 1-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what team do you support, though?
What?
What team do you support?
Barcelona.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Gilbert.
All right.
0549986 0549986 Atletico Madrid are taking on who? Getafe? Okay.
By goal to nil from I think Molina in the first half, but yeah, I think Atletico haven't been on too good a form since they beat Barca in the first leg of the Spanish Super Cup. I think the Copa del Rey semi-finals. They lost the second leg 3-0, but they still progressed. Because they had an extra goal advantage.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've, even in the Champions League, I guess Spurs helped them a bit with the whole Kinski thing, but even for that, I don't think
they'll
they've
progress though. There's no way Spurs is coming back from that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Hi, you know where you calling us from?
Hello, this is Kwame from Aosh.
Kwame, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm good too. What team do you support, Kwame?
Oh, in the Gunners, the league leaders, and the eventual winners of this season's league.
Eventual. I like the fact that you added that. Talk to me, bro.
Sally, why are the football pundits on Arsenal like that? This week I listened to Mikel Obi and I was very sad. The biases they are showing, Sally, it's too much. How can you say Arsenal is winning matches illegally? How? What have they done? I want you guys to actually discuss what he said this week. It's
But
very
which part of that interview he did you not like? Is it the part he said Arsenal would bottle the rest of the?
Not that part. As for that one, I don't want to even go. I don't think there's been a team that has never bottled the league before.
Okay.
The fact that he says that Arsenal is cheating their way or has cheated their way to the top, and Arsenal is winning matches illegally.
Okay.
You see, set pieces are not part of the game. It's very mind-boggling. And you see, his own Chelsea, look at the way they are struggling. But you don't hear such things about them. Arsenal is boring, yet Arsenal has scored over 100 goals. This season, top 5 European leagues, over 100 goals. The teams that are not boring, how many goals have they scored? It's very disturbing. I think you guys should discuss it. How can a soccer pundit, the biases are too much. If you support another team, that is fine. But when you appear on a show as a pundit and you say someone has cheated, what kind of cheating? Do Arsenal officiate their own matches? It's getting too much.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate your submission too. Thank you so much. 0549986 0549986 Gabia Fair here with Manuel Angelo Kwache and Yao Jibinta. You can also call us and share your thoughts with us. Hi, your name, where are you calling us from?
Hello?
Yes, your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Prince. I'm calling from Medina.
Prince, what team do you support?
I'm a Liverpool fan.
All right, talk to me.
Okay, so looking at the Bayern game, it's like the referee was bribed or something. This game, is just like a bias to Bayern so that they can be able to steal points for by Liverpool. And you know, Liverpool, this time we have not been in our best form. All these things too, I would say our coach is also part, because sometimes when you look at some of the changes he has been doing, How can you be losing a match and then the kind of players you bring in inside is not to push forward? No, at least me, I'm pushing for Angatilo to go. That one day I'll say, if any Liverpool fan disagree with me, should come and beat me. But that's the fact. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you too. 05499696. Hi, where are you calling us from? Okay, we don't have a caller. But you can also call us, share your thoughts with us here on the Republic of Football 97.3.
If I can just touch briefly on the Arsenal thing.
Okay.
I think at some point they need to realize that you can't. What other people say doesn't. Not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't really change anything. And I've seen Mikel Arteta himself address this in terms of Arsenal and set pieces. Like any manager would be frustrated to concede a goal from a set piece. That's just how naturally they are built. Because you set up the game for so many different. How do you call it, things that can happen during a game. You try and looking out for so many different permutations. So if someone just swings the ball into a box and someone rises high and hits it, it's quite frustrating if that's the manner in which you're conceding goals. But at the end of the day, people are always going to talk about these things, and I think that if you win the title, it doesn't really matter how you won it. That's it. Just win it. Later, the commentary will come, and people will be critical and people will praise. So they just need to learn how to balance it.
Are they criticizing or having an issue with all the criticism because they somewhere, some way, somehow inside their heads or minds,
Okay.
they are afraid that they might end up bottling it, and that's why they are so sensitive about all this chatter?
Well, let's get back to the phone lines. Hi, where are you calling us from?
Hello?
Yes. Can you please lower the volume of your radio
Hello,
set?
can you hear me?
Yes. Can you turn down the volume of your radio set for me?
Sure.
All right. Your name,
Good
please.
evening.
Yeah, talk to me. Your name.
Yeah, my name is Nathan. I'm also a Liverpool supporter.
Okay.
The caller who just called out, any Liverpool fan who does not agree with him. We agree with him. The coach has not been good for us this season. But we want to give him to end the season, and then we look for a new coach. But for the league, Arsenal is true. And we are happy that they are going through. They suffered a lot. But we pray that they continue to wrap it up. For Chelsea, the noisemakers, today they will fall again. And I know my friend Chelsea fans will not be happy with me, but they are going to fall. Thank you.
All right. Thank you too. 05499696 05499696. Hi, where are you calling us from?
My name is Rudolph. I'm calling from Ashama.
Your name is Rudolph.
Rudolph, yes, I'm calling from Ashama.
All right. Talk to me, please.
I'm a Liverpool fan. I don't know why Ancelotti is still in England.
You don't know why Slot is why?
I don't know why he's still in England.
Okay.
That man needs to be sacked immediately because he's killing our team. Thank you very much.
Straight to the point. 0549 96996 054996 Call us, let's get talking. The Republic of Football 97.3. Keeping tabs on the other games also going on. Atletico 1, Getafe 0. Atletico introducing 3 players: Julian Alvarez, Ademola Lookman, and there's another. Is that Llorente?
That's all lot. He looks disappointed to be coming off the pitch. I don't know, but I've always wondered how Simeone would. He seems to like a big man, small man. Sometimes he plays him with Alvarez, but I think in the with his team that needs his wingers to do as much defensive work, I don't know how playing 2 strikers will always help them in terms of mobility. Because Solot, while he's fast for a big man, but he's still not as mobile as maybe someone like Alvarez, or maybe when some of the other younger, more nimble players were still there. Just looking at Atletico, it's interesting. Like obviously they are still very grateful to Simeone for all he's done for them as a club, but I wonder if there'll ever be a point where they feel like they need to, develop, or maybe we need to constant grow. Maybe someone else can help us continue to development to get to a level where we want to be. Because now there's a level where they are competing at the same level as Barcelona and Real Madrid. Like they're investing in their squad as much. So the only thing that's being left there is actually being able to compete with them, and maybe that needs a little more ruthlessness in order to achieve that.
And again, we have to go back to this whole analogy of Joshua and Moses. I mean, you led us out of Egypt, out of the darkness and out of our struggles. But the promised land, you are not the one who is going to lead us to the promised land. You can get us close to the promised land, but you are not the one who will actually get us to the promised land. And I think that's what Atletico Madrid are with Simeone, because for the kind of quality that they have, and the fact that now they've been able to be successful under Simeone to the extent that they become financially very prominent enough to be able to sign players that Barcelona will usually sign for 80 million pounds, 100 million
120.
euros.
When they sold Griezmann, they went and bought João Felix for the same amount from Benfica.
Those kind of things, you definitely should expect something way a little bit better than what Simeone has been able to give you, especially in recent years. And so in that sense, and I say so because I'm calling for a replacement in Simeone, not because he isn't good enough, but I don't think that he's getting the most out of this squad. That's my only issue, or my only challenge. And making matters worse, aside that point, now they don't have their usual identity. So if you are Diego Simeone and your identity that led you to win 2 Spanish La Liga titles, the Europa League, reach the Champions League final twice. It was built on a stingy defense. And now you look at Atletico Madrid over the past 2 seasons, and they don't look like they are any form of semblance of a top-level defensive unit. So it means you've lost your identity, or you are losing your identity. And on top of that, you are not maximizing the most out of this squad. I think it's time to go. I think the cycle has come to an end. I think it has come to an end, and they are in a position where it wouldn't be like West Ham, where they are ungrateful to David Moyes for what he's done, and they are overly reaching by dropping David Moyes and going in for Julian Lopetegui, knowing very well that their squad wasn't necessarily built in that mode. It's not like West Ham. Atletico Madrid has been built over 10 years under Simeone, to the extent that they have enough structure, enough strength with their system to be able to withstand any kind of shock if they let go of Simeone and bring in a coach with a different dynamic, with a different way of seeing things, of seeing the game, especially from an attacking standpoint. Because you look at Atletico Madrid with all the materials that they have, still very quite rigid and conservative with the way they play. And for me, that's what they would need to be able to be at the top level. Because other than that, this season I see them winning the Copa del Rey. They've made it to the final. They're going to play Real Sociedad. But beyond that, do you see them winning the Champions League? No. I mean, the league, they are pretty much out of the race. And for a team that was built with all this significant resource, and to be out of the title race at this, and they've been out of the title race for a while.
They've been.
It doesn't augur too well for their stature that has been built over the years under Diego Simeone. He's done a great job, but I think, like I said, he's led them out of the wilderness and for more or less slavery. But to get to the promised land, they need another hand.
And the thing that I think is just an era thing that's passed. I think the type of football that he plays, he could have maybe been more successful in a previous era. I mean, 10 years ago, he got to a Champions League final with playing that similar style of football. But now I think in the way teams work, especially in a league format, more teams will just sit back and wait for you to attack them. So he needs to find a way to break teams down.
He's not evolved,
he's evolved a little bit.
Okay.
He's evolved to the extent where sometimes he plays with 2 central defenders and defensive midfielder dropping deep.
Okay.
He's changed his style, but like I said, I think it's time to go.
And he's paid quite well. He's the highest paid coach in the world. So
let me talk to
there should be more that comes to that.
Hi, your name, where are you calling us from?
Hi, good evening. My name is Shaibu and I'm calling from Kasua.
Your name is
Shaibu, I'm calling from Kasua.
Shaibu. Talk to me.
Please, I just want you to help me out with your candid opinion. In the last 2 years, if you look at Chelsea's squad, which department is the weakest link or the weakest in the team?
In the last 2 years.
In the last 2 years.
Which
department is the weakest?
The weakest is goalkeeping, followed by the central defensive unit. That's 1 and 2.
Yeah, maybe you should go over that again for him.
Okay,
Are
so
you sure
he said weakest.
For me, I think it's the goalkeeping. Even a blind man can attest to it.
Yeah, that's what he said. So he started with the goalkeeper as his
yeah,
one
the two goalkeepers are not good.
And then
so
followed by the
knows this, but he doesn't want to buy
center back.
A grade A goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Donnarumma was there for us to go and play. It has come back to hunt us in the championship. I was really sad that very. It's a goalkeeping department.
Okay. So that's the problem.
So that's my take.
Okay.
If not because of the goalkeeper's error, we wouldn't have in this situation.
But which goalkeeper, if you had your way, you would have gone for?
Come again?
If you were part of the Chelsea technical team, the directors, which goalkeeper would you have gone for?
Oh, I would have gone for Donnarumma when he wanted to leave PSG.
What Gabi is saying is that now that situation has passed.
Mm-hmm.
So this off season, which goalkeeper would you wish to see Chelsea go for?
Yeah.
Apart from Donnarumma. I can't hear you, Yao.
Shaibu, the question we are asking is that when you take Donnarumma out, which goalkeeper would you have gone? Would you go for this summer?
I would have gone for the FC Porto goalkeeper.
The what's his name? Costa.
Costa.
FC Porto goalkeeper. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks.
05499.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, but I didn't see that one coming, but I think it's a good.
I think that guy is overpriced. If I'm Chelsea, I'll just go to Italy.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I'll just go to Italy. I'll go to AC Milan.
They tried it in the summer, and I don't know what.
I'll go for.
They didn't like him.
Yeah, if they don't like him, they can go for Jan Sommer, the Inter Milan goalkeeper.
I mean, how's Jorgensen better than him?
Don't call me Jorgensen. Yeah, they are not on the same bracket.
So just go to Italy.
So if you want an upgrade on
Mike Mignolet's an
sorry, slightly, I think.
If you are talking on Sanchez, he's better than slightly. He's better than slightly.
Hi, your name, where are you calling us from? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name, please.
Yeah, Nathan once again. I told you these people are noise makers. Now they are carrying for goalkeepers. They forgot that Sanchez helped them to win the World Cup, and they are boasting with their jerseys that they are the world champions. This same keeper who helped you to win the cup. So if he's having a bit of inconsistency, why are they complaining that they don't have a goalkeeper? They have a coach who has won the World Cup for them, and they just sack him without no reason. So please, they should stop making those noise. We are tired of them. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. 0549 96 996.
Yeah, I do.
But you see, my opinions are. Everybody's entitled to his or her opinion, though. So, okay, well. You can also call us. And then, I'm trying to understand his take on why he's called back to. Is he calling back again? Okay. 0519.
I think the person who spoke is now coming to respond to him. So, yeah.
Hi, your name, where are you calling us from?
Yeah.
Are you listening to music? Can you please?
From Asiama.
Prosper, are you closer to music or something?
Today I want to congratulate Mr. Yao. The other day I condemned him. So today I have to congratulate him. His analysis on Atletico Madrid, that's how I see Atletico. They have quality players, but for their coach, it's not getting the best out of the players. So for me, I'm not Atletico supporter, but today his analysis on article is on point. As for Chelsea, for me, the goalkeepers that we have, I don't sometimes blame the keepers. I blame the defenders too. Chelsea, for the defenders that we have now, any goalkeeper that will come will have problems. So unless, before we solve the goalkeeping situation, we have to at least do something about the defenders too, before we go for any other goalkeeper. So today, kudos to yeah. Thank you.
Zero 54996 We'll take maybe our final 2 callers and then we'll take the show home.
Hey, with the Chelsea goalkeeping situation, they don't need to spend heavy money on Diogo Costa because he's overly priced. Just go to Italy. You get solid players, top level goalkeepers at an affordable price, as we say in Ghana.
Yeah.
Because Mike Maignan, he won't cost more than 50 million. Jan Sommer is also there, top level goalkeeper. Even Juventus goalkeeper, Di Gregorio.
Yeah, also there.
Very good goalkeeper, brilliant goalkeeper. A lot of these goalkeepers are there, and I think, is it Atalanta?
Yeah, he was in action today.
Yeah, Atalanta goalkeeper too. Yeah, he's very, very good. So, if you are Chelsea, there are options out there. So many options out there. I don't think they need to be stuck on, players that have been circulated around the transfer market for quite a while.
We'll take our final.
Because those guys are overly rated or overly priced.
Yeah. Hi, your name, where you calling us from, please? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Your name and where you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm Seth, calling from Kessie and Mount.
Seth, please talk to me.
Yeah.
Seth, please turn down the volume of a radio set, okay? So you
Hello?
talk to me. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Please talk. We are listening, eh?
Yeah. I want to say something about Manchester United. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Seth, are you listening to yourself? If you are listening, please.
No, I'm not listening to myself.
Okay, so please proceed and then.
No, I want to say something about Manchester United management. Hello.
Yeah, so please proceed.
Hello.
Okay. I think we'd have to address that technical hitch. Yeah. Struggling to hear him though. So that's it with our callers. Let me just the games that are happening now as we speak is Atletico taking on Getafe, and then at 5:30 in the English Premier League, Arsenal are in action against Everton, and there is also Chelsea up against Newcastle United, and then West Ham United will play Man City at the London Stadium. Just concluding thoughts on the games to come in the EPL. I think the 2 games are
very, very, very tricky
Chelsea
games. I mean, because with West Ham, Man City, on a normal basis, I wouldn't stress too much about that game. But looking at the upcoming game between Real Madrid and Man City in the second leg in the Champions League, how Pep Guardiola would tackle that particular contest, it brings about, or it stirs up several situations, possible situations in this game against West Ham, because he's definitely going to rotate the squad, and is he going to rotate the squad to the extent that it affects their flow and it affects their overall structure, where West Ham come in and just take advantage and playing at the London Stadium, and compound the issues of Manchester City. It is very possible, but looking at the quality in the depth chart of Manchester City, I think their team is too deep to be affected by any kind of rotation that Pep Guardiola will do for today's game. And on top of that, they do have those guys that are likely to come in will come in with something fresh, because they haven't played in a while. I look at guys like Nico Gonzalez. I look at a guy like let's say Savinho. Those guys haven't been too caught up in that whole league chase, and it's drained them mentally, and for them to be super affected and timid by the result that they recorded against Real Madrid, for them to be so affected that they can't beat a team like West Ham. So I'll go in with the win for Man City. And the Chelsea game, I'll go in with a draw. I still see it as a draw, because Newcastle, I still see Newcastle being able to have it in them to be able to just frustrate Chelsea, and just make them pay consistently on the counter attack, and make them sweat very much for a draw. So I see a draw coming in this one.
Patrick, final thoughts and then.
Like we're getting to the more decisive part of the season where you start to know when things will be decided and not. Burnley's point today, I mean, eventually it helps them, but I think they need to start winning games soon. I think the interesting part is looking at the race for the Champions League. At some point, it looked like Aston Villa were done and through, and that they were already secured. But now they're just 3 points ahead of both Chelsea and Liverpool.
Okay.
And which means that if one or two results go, Aston Villa could actually end the weekend not even in the top 5 or top 6. I mean, I'm not even in the top 5, which would be interesting. Which means they'll be out of the Champions League places, which would just give you an indication of the type of form that they've had coming into this part of the season. So it's also a big test for some of the other teams that are competing in Europe. So, a team like Chelsea especially. Maybe look at Liam Rosini. This is the main criticism that people have always going to have. It's not like winning games is never going to be the challenge. Like you're a good manager, you have a talented group of players. It's about having the mentality and being able to work on like you see the things that we can't see, the things that he can do in the background to help them closer to the ambition. Like they say, more champions, a team that's won the Champions League and the Premier League in recent years. So, there's a lot happening. We just need to. This weekend could be key in deciding some of these results. And the way some of the games are positioned with Liverpool's game against Spurs, a win for Liverpool would be crucial, but a loss for Spurs would be even more condemning for a team that's in the relegation zone. So there's a lot happening everywhere.
And for Chelsea, once the rotations come in, the back line is already suspect. The goalkeeping situation is already suspect. So if you rotate it, you are weakening it further, and you just make the team very susceptible to a shock loss to Newcastle. But I think they have enough quality to avoid losing that game. And so I definitely see a draw. And
just a quick one on Liam. Like when he came initially, all the comments were that he's only lost the games against Arsenal, but now I think
Lecce. I saw that coming. I saw that coming because there was a first corner kick they did. The way that Napoli defended the corner kick was just so funny. Not surprised. So Lecce won, Napoli 0. But it's good to see Zamba and Giza back though.
For now for a while.
I know. Just about them. So with Chelsea now, like I said, like the honeymoon is over for Liam Rosini. They're winning all these games, and I think it's also significant to look at the games that he has lost. So now losing to Arsenal twice and losing to PSG, that clearly gives an indication that we can beat the teams that are at our level. But when we meet the teams that may be a level or two above us, we're going to struggle. And Chelsea's mentality has always been like the underdog who is not afraid of the challenge. So he needs to now just work his way to getting them from being okay. They can be the underdogs, maybe they're under favored, but they can also be favorites in a game and work with that advantage as well.
Okay. All right. So we'll be here tomorrow to run you through the result from the Chelsea Newcastle game and the Arsenal Everton game. Same as the the City game as well. Later tomorrow here on the Republic of Football. Thank you guys. Here I Jaminta and Manuel Angelo Kwache Technical support from Daniel Squashy. I'm Gabby Ofel. We're back same time tomorrow, 2 to 5 p.m. Republic of Football. Always an interactive show. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of our programs. Do take care and bye-bye.